Greetings, family. Welcome to Pan-Africanism towards Nationhood, building a global Black business pipeline. Yes, family, and you have Bomani Tyehimba here and Kala Genesis. And family, this is our topic tonight, and we're going to get into it like we usually get into it with the Afrikstan Analysis. That's what we do, family. And this is Pan-Africanism towards Nationhood. All we talk about is the focus, point of view of us building a future for our children and generations to come, and then lay down a foundation to where we feel like we'll work towards something that we can make happen, versus being in a situation where you're just working on something and you're on a treadmill, just running fast and getting nowhere, or like just out there just running in one place. So what we like to talk about, family, we like to show progress, and we also like to show the real connection and the things that we need to focus on as a people. Because every time you look up on YouTube or you look up this out there in the world media, it's usually just 100% of things going on to distract us from organizing our Pan-African world. And once again, family, the African continent is the only continent where you have, the past situation of tribalism, past situation of just different things to divide us as a people, And what I mean by that is when I look at even a country like Ghana or Nigeria, it's divided by different groups and different cultures and languages and many different things. And it doesn't always seem like, we're ever on one page. And I'm not always trying to just beat up on us and say we need to operate like Japan or China or India. But we also like to always put in perspective that we have to deal with the reality, and we have to deal with countries that we have seen 60, 80, 100 years ago and seen their conditions. And then we have to just analyze where they are in the world today, which, all of them are working towards being world power and working towards just being dominant, working towards locking down industries, making sure their children are the most progressive and competitive children in the world. And I know one of the things I'm always telling people that understand our situation is a whole lot different from everybody else. And you can add up everybody Holocaust, everybody atrocities, everybody setback, every other race of people situation. And this is just factual research. Anyone can do it. And then you just compare our situation and you'll see that it's 100 times worse. And, so we have to come up with different strategies to make it work, and we have to be more dedicated to what's going on. But what I see is just a whole lot of distractions, my brother. A whole lot of distractions. You got public lynching going on, which with some of our favorite entertainers, like Kanye West and Kyrie Irving. People like myself. I'm a fan of my brothers and sisters who do things. So I'm sure they have many fans out there, but we're seeing a public example of why we need an Afrikstan, why Bomani and Kala has been right all the time about what we're talking about and what we have come together on. And if we weren't right, then these things wouldn't go on. So I'm telling people, family, don't take it personal. You're in a system, in a world where where the people who have set up what they set up to benefit themselves. They set up to just get paid. You look at all of the counties, the state, the city, the towns in America. All of them are like get money operation. I mean, even to the point where some of them make do well for themselves based on the suffering of their own citizen and things like that. So I'm telling you, family, in order for us to be in control of our destiny, man, listen to my brother Kala, man. Kala is the scholar, and Kala is on point on a lot of things he said. And I'm always telling him, like, Kala, people do not give you enough respect and credit. So Kala, let's go right to the topic, man. Let me just read the topic for you, family. Cooperative economics versus rugged individualism. Which way works best for Afrikstan Nation Building? And this is the Afrikstan Analysis with Kala Genesis and Bomani. Greetings, my brother. What you have to say about
brother.
that beautiful
Thank you,
topic?
brother Bomani. Thank you. Like I said, I had this topic of mine. I couldn't remember exactly what the topic was. I know everything's come across my mind. I said that's what I got to talk about, right? And then I called you back. I remembered. Usually when stuff comes to me, right, I'm driving, so I can't pull over. Right, what I should do is have a little pad in my car, and write it down. You know, I try to remember until I get to a piece of paper. I write stuff down, key points and whatnot. You know, but I'll be driving. Somehow these things come to me when I'm driving, man. You know, I make an excellent truck driver because I'll be thinking to myself all the time. You know, I can solve the world's problem. Give me a 18-wheeler. Let me go across the country, man. I'll solve the world's problems overnight. Matter of fact, one day I want to do that. I want to take one whole year, get one of those RVs or whatever, and do a BAO cross country.
Hey, great
You see
idea.
Kala pulling up and whatnot, big banner outside and whatnot, man, and speaking and lecturing, everything like that. I'm gonna do that one day. Trust me. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that one day, 1 year. Like I'm gonna take a whole year. I'm gonna crisscross the country, and stop at different parts. That's gonna be the biggest thing ever here. The BAO African tour, nationwide tour, and everything like that. Going around signing people up for the Ning site, passing out flyers and meeting people and everything.
I got it. I know we're gonna do just like the FBA repatriation rally.
No, it'll be bigger than that because this will be.
Oh man, I thought you was about to say we're gonna do it like how they do it, man.
We'll do it bigger than that. You know why? Because the fact of the matter is, what we do, we can actually accomplish. People don't realize that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think they're gonna like what you just said.
With the FBA ADOS people, right? They're rallying, right, just to be seen, right? And their end goal is, which they're never going to accomplish, reparations has to do with convincing white people. When we talk about Afrikstan Nation Building, everything, it only is designed to basically convince Black people. If Black people decide this is what we want, we can do it. Nothing can stop us. And that's why I said no real nationalist movement. If anytime somebody's a nationalist, right, and they got a line in the stand saying, we need help from the white man, we need help from the white man, or we need this or whatever, run from them like you would a rattlesnake. We don't need Democrats, we don't need Republicans to accomplish this. Now, if you're half and half and lukewarm, you're half in the nationalist movement and half in America, I can see that, right? But we're saying that we have to basically build ourselves together and whatnot. We do this and everything. We don't need the white people. We don't need their approval. Like I said, wherever there's a will, there's a way. Okay. And in my research and studying over the last few decades, when I found a way, and that's land infrastructure nationhood and building towards nationhood. That has to be the end game. If your end game is trying to change America or change the hearts of white people or get along white people, you're gonna have you're gonna be a Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James. I'm sorry. I like these guys. I like Shaquille and LeBron. I like all these rappers and everything, but I cannot be. I cannot be that because they got money and everything like that, right? And they're satisfied in the world they live in. They're loved and adored and everything. Okay, I get that, right? But something deep down in my soul, right, says to me, I think about my ancestors. I think about the fact that we are a great people. African Americans are great people, And despite the fact that they've been trying to destroy our character and our image throughout the world, we're resilient, great people. And I know we, more than any other group of people, are capable of having a land and making a great nation, right? And a testament, right, to who we are. We're going to never become like them, We'll never become like them. We'll never be racist. Well, whatever like that. We want a Black nation, and we want to tell the world this is who we are, right? The white man has mocked us, and he's told the world who we are, and he even have our African brothers and sisters hating us and looking down on us, right? Like, oh, these people are. So basically, the white man completely absolved himself for all the stuff he did to us. We're going to talk about that tonight. All the hell he did to us, all the towns he destroyed in us, all the institutions he destroyed in Black America, all the evil stuff they done to us, right? And because most of the people that come to America are weak, America doesn't attract the best people around the world. America attracts lowlifes, people who basically want to, who can't make it in their own countries. So they come here and America offers them a little place. And all you have to do is basically look down on Black people and join them in their fight. It used to be they brought Europeans to the army. Now they're recruiting Asians, Indians, Arabs, people, even people from our own race to come over here and join this thing called America. And America is a bold-faced lie. Okay, America is a bold-faced lie. You know, we come over here, we get the money, we do what we have to do, right? But don't you ever ask me to salute your flag and sing a pledge of allegiance and say, I believe my country to thee. I will burn that flag right in front of you. Don't ever push me to that point. Okay, so what I'm talking about tonight is cooperative economics versus rugged individual as far as nation building. Okay, I believe that we could do a hybrid of both. Like I said, anybody knows Kala. I'm a Taoist. So I study martial arts. I believe in yin and yang. I believe in balance. Okay, so in other words, basically, if you look at the situation, you say, Kala, you're a communist, socialist, or capitalist. I said about a hybrid of both. I believe people should be able to make money and get money and own property and everything like that, right? I don't believe a state should come and take your private property you worked hard for and everything. You should make your money. I agree with that, right? But I also believe that the state or society should provide opportunity and a social safety net for people and make sure things are even and basically have a justification process if you're going to basically make money. I look at the Japanese model, right? Japanese produces more millionaires than billionaires. Why? Because the wealth is evenly distributed in the country. Japanese enfranchise smaller businesses to do work for them. You know, it's not always about the profit. Capitalism is about profit above else. Japanese understand they have a social responsibility to enfranchise other Black Japanese businessmen, you know, and put people in business and put people to work and everything. That's why the society works. Okay, I believe there's a hybrid. You know, a capitalist believes he has a means to make money, whether you need a product or service or not. I do believe a state or society has the right to say, okay, if you want to make money, but we need you to build this instead of that. Okay, so therefore, I'm not either capitalist or socialist, right? I'm like a little bit of both. I was like, okay, I want you to make the money, but we need you to do it this way. We need you to partner with this way. We don't need you, both of you building a factory making the same thing. Why don't you guys combine operations, right? Save time, labor, effort, and everything, and stop waste. And you guys work on together. You know, like I studied the Asian model. Okay, how to combine capitalism, which you have the right to make money, right? All the money you want, but do it socially responsible. You know, be a social responsibility. Build schools, you know, give your workers high pay, you know, pensions, you know, lifetime employment, stuff like this. A raw capitalist don't care. He just wants to make money. If he can get away with paying you nothing, he would. I don't believe in that. I believe you should make money, but you have a social responsibility with your money. Same thing with cooperative economics, working individualism. Excuse me. We want to be cooperative in our economics, right? But there has to be a structure where the people could benefit that come into cooperative. Too many times, cooperative economics just means one person holds all the money and everybody puts in, but nobody gets out. I do believe that if those who put the most work in should get the most benefit. You know, too many times people say, okay, let's do cooperative economics. Let's everybody eat. But wait a minute here. Okay, we appreciate you being part of this, right? But you're not showing up to help out. You're not putting in work. You're not putting in labor. You're not putting in time and everything. Only a few people are doing all that, right? When the first pilgrims settled in America, they found this out when the first pilgrims settled in America, right? They said, okay, let's be cooperative, right? Cooperative. Everybody's let's all own the land collectively. And there was some people say, no, I'm doing good with my own individual family farm. I have my wife, my children, everything working on farm, and we'll make a thing. Then some people say, no, let's put all the land together. And what they found out was that some people were not working. They were not contributing, right? And they still had the same right to a co-op, whatever, that everybody else did. So they found out that system didn't work. And ever since then, America has been like always about individual farms, you know, family farms, everything. Now, how does that? Now, that's a rugged individual, but how do you make that cooperative? Okay, well, a lot of farmers found out that just being alone by themselves wasn't enough. Okay, so what they would do is they would farm in the West. They would farm farmers associations, cattle associations. Why? Because they will find out that big money from the East will come there, buy up land, buy up all the salt, buy up all the stuff, and starve them out. So therefore, they found that rugged individualism did not really work. So they had to work together. That's they have found out the ranchers. So that's still these things still operate today. Well, if you're a gold miner, right, they find Gold Miners Association where they operate together under a collective. They still have their own claims, but they choose a board of directors or associate board to represent them in the legislature and the state. That model works. So therefore, you have a hybrid of you still have your individual ownership of your land, your claim to your gold mine, right? And you have a few dozen other people that have a claim too, right? But you have an association that anybody wants to claim, you get to join, right? Where you set the price of gold, you set you help out when laws that might come out that might be adverse to you or something like that. You basically can work together, okay? And then you found yourself stronger. So it's a hybrid of cooperative economics based on individual achievement, okay? So therefore, it's not like, okay, let's all be gold miners, and the people are benefiting that don't have a claim, and two, did not put any work in or money in or investment in to this. I do believe that the people who put money in something, you should own it, right? And it's yours. And what you do is you cooperate and form an association with groups of people that have similar interests. And there's a difference between being interested in something and having an interest. If you have an interest, right, that's cooperative too, because when you have an interest, you want to protect it. So what you do is you form an association, an alliance. Those things are important. Now, what are the things that we don't see in Black America? We don't see that in Black America when it comes to business, you know, and we see it even less on the African continent, where you'll have African Americans, instead of basically working together. We have land that we're trying to build stuff and businesses, everything. We should have a business association. Why? Because you have similar interests. You are a foreigner in another country, and you should come together based on the fact that no one's going to take what you have and put in some pool collective. I don't get weird with that, but you should have an association where you have a common set of rules and things, ideas that you agree on, the problems or whatever that you agree on, that you have a committee and association with bylaws that you guys agree on and say, look, this is what this is what we found. That's where you form think tanks and everything. And what this is called organization. Okay. When someone says we have organization, what does it mean? It's not just means organization means you're organized. Okay. You're organized to the highest level, right? Where things flow and you act as a entity, a strong, powerful entity. Okay, cool. Why? Because you're organized. Being organized is very, very important to getting things done. Now, the individual is, I always tell people always tell me all the time, oh, I'm going to Africa. I'm going to get rid of my Western ways. But the most Western thing is being completely a rugged individualist. You're going to Africa and you have people living in the continent and the same country, and y'all don't speak to each other. I'm doing my thing. I heard the Bag family. I have nothing to do with nobody over there. We just doing our own thing. And you got people in the Gambia, they don't have nothing to do with each other. Instead of being on YouTube, right? Why not you form a African Americans in Gambia Association? Okay. Find out what exactly you guys have in common. What's your concerns? And then you have a committee that you meet once a month, whatever, and you iron out differences. And you say, look, this is how we are going to act as a unified unit. You may be able to find thing when you're organized like that, then people will come to you and say, you guys are organized. I like to invest with you guys. I like to build with you guys, because you guys got all these groups of people. They're doing their own individual thing, but you have an association that can reach all the people and one thing, and then you could bring the people together, say such and such would like to speak, and he has a proposal, right? All the people are there. It's yay and nay. If you don't like what he says, you don't waste time, and you don't have the backbiting of, okay, I'm gonna get with this group of people, and we're gonna talk about this group of people, right? If you guys have an association, right, an outsider can't come in and divide you and pit you against each other. And so, therefore, this is what we're talking about today. Cooperative economics versus rugged individualism. And one thing I want to try to tell you, I don't want people to think that if you take the time and build something, everything, that cooperative economics means you're going to lose or share with somebody that didn't input with. Now, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying if you have a business or whatever, and such and such have a business, if you have a business association, right, you could cooperate on certain things. For example, if you have a trading business, importing, exporting, everything, why is that? That if you guys are need certain things in the community, and you guys are all living in the same country, right? Why are you guys all importing the same thing? Why don't you guys say get together and form an association? Say, okay, I'm going to import this. I'm going to import this. I'm going to this. You're going to buy from me here and everything. Okay, we're going to agree to buy with each other. That's like what I told in the last two shows, business to business relationship. So therefore, this is what other groups of people do. They're not stepping on each other's toes. They're not reinventing the wheel every 2 seconds. They're working together and they're becoming more organized and stronger and prospering together. So cooperative economics, right? But no one's taking your individual business or your individual rights or anything like that. But it just means cooperating with each other on an organized level. Okay. And so this is what we're talking about tonight. Being organized is the most important thing. That's why we formed the BAIO. People, you come to our social network. We have different chapters for different states, different countries, and everything. You can meet people in there and fellowship with other people and say, if I got people at the BAO in Ghana, and we have a social network. And one of the things that really threw everything off was this rise of YouTube, and people starting to see that now. They're like, wow, the BAO, we were so strong years ago. What happened? I said, YouTube. Instead of people basically building with each other on social network platforms and having their conference calls and everything like that, everybody getting their guidance from people on YouTube. And what's happening is this: people are not together. You got YouTube personalities and all this shenanigans and everything. And it's time to really start getting serious again about this nation building movement. That's what we're talking about. Getting serious about this nation building movement. And the whole thing is this: we have to basically work together. We have to work together. What's good? Yeah. Thank you, brother. I talked to my brother Sean Wolf tonight, man. Yeah. I hope you hope I'm gonna say hope you can come on because I feel you in a way. Yeah, my whole thing is, bro. He's a BAO member, right? Good brother. I was in a susu with him, man. We both made some money and everything like that 2 years ago, a year ago. What was it? 2 years ago, a year ago, a year ago. And we both made some money together in susu and everything like that. And I parted ways with my old production manager, my radio show and everything. So whatever. But anyway, he's basically, unfortunately, been having problems with Nigerians and West Africans because of what he's seeing on TikTok and YouTube. He's been to Africa. He's been to Senegal a few times and everything. He was saying, I want to get a Senegalese wife and everything. Now he's turning against, he said he's still Pan-African. He just told me he's still Pan-African, but he's feeling this FBA ADOS stuff, right? And this is what I'm trying to head off. I'm trying to head this stuff off because I'm having a lot of people who are in the Pan-African movement, right? Had they stayed the course with the BAO, right? They're on social media and they don't see Pan-Africans defending them. People, and he put a post up the other day where when this takeoff got killed, right? A Nigerian put a post up saying, African Americans is animals. Why they kill that guy? This animal. And he said, wait a minute here. You guys are genitally mutilating women. You guys are kidnapping girls in northern Nigeria. You guys got savages. You guys kill kids and autism in Nigeria. They kill kids because they call them witches and everything. But yeah, you talk about us. So this ugliness that's going on between Africans and African Americans is derived from social media. Okay. I try to tell a lot of my African Americans who are Pan Africans who don't get it, right? Pan Africanism has to work where people have to have some sort of respect for each other. You cannot have Pan Africanism, right? And make it seem like you could shit on Black America. The Black American experience or culture or wherever we go through is invalid. That's what's turning a lot of people right? Because I'm watching it, right? I'm watching people that were so-called black nationalists, everything, turn against the Pan-African movement because it doesn't seem like it's reciprocal, and we have to win that battle. This is why people are walking away from this movement, because a lot of Pan-Africans are making us look like fools,
Yes, brother. Speak.
I'm first and foremost African American, right? I'm not gonna ever sell you out or put you in harm's way for a diamond mine or piece of land or whatever they got to offer in Africa. If you can't accept that I'm African American and my people, there's no deal. There's no deal. So I want to make sure I'm African American first, just like I would expect a Ghanaian or Nigerian or Kenyan to put their people and their interests first. That's what it means by that. We could cooperate together, but we all have individual interests that we have to basically sort out. People have to look out for their family, their village, everything. When we talk about putting together a Pan-African world, a Pan-African village, only a fool would just basically be an individual. I'm just an individual. I'm just going to Africa. Great in Africa.
My brother, that's what's going on, because people are doing it. So it shows that people are really down with the individualism. Well, let me add something to that real quick. As far as individualism, I'm telling you, family, when you're trying to build Black organization, whether it's a business organization or it's a social organization or just any kind of Black organization, we have to find us as individuals. Gotta understand that. I know some of us weren't brought up from study groups and us coming together, having certain cookouts and building things together. But it's like if we put all individuals together and they just come on code, just as simple as that. That we agreed, just like this movement right here. I have so much people that agree that they want to be a part of this movement and agree that they want to build communities and things like that. But then when you have meetings, then when you have information that you email people, and you just ask people, I was like, okay, you don't want to read the information, you don't want to join meetings, but you want to do business and you want to travel and things like that. So I tell people, show us a lot more respect. Like someone like myself, I am a technical administrator. Everything that you see online is created with this right here and this right here. And then, then as far as this business administrator, you're doing the work. So I'm telling people that when you reach out to people like myself or those of us out there that are doing the work, and then you have information up, like there's nothing that we're asking people to send a bunch of upfront money or send any upfront money. It's just information. I make myself available. And you're supposed to have meetings with people and do certain things. And you're telling people step their game up, because literally you're gonna lose out on the best of us that's doing this. So I understand that we've been divided all kind of ways, but what about the people who believe in what they believe? I always talk about the 1%ers. Why even that 1% energy can't get together? Because the people that's moving to Africa, those are the 1% of people, but they still brainwashed with individualism. So a lot of bad things have happened to those who feel and carry that way, but it seemed like not enough is happening to them to make them just come on code. So I'm telling people, I'm always putting a link up here for our Black Star Pan-African community. Reach out to people like ourselves who have things established, who can help you with consultation and connect you with the right people. Because like you mentioned, one of the best points you made today, a brother that was down with Pan-Africanism, just like a lot of other people that we hear that's down with Pan-African movement. And then they make these moves. So I'm always telling them that, well, you did what you feel like you wanted to do versus connect with people. And then now you have an issue with whatever African country you went to and things didn't work out for you. You can't just show up in any country in the world and things like that. America is different from everywhere else in the entire world. There's no game, there's no setup like this. It's just completely different. And I'm always saying about America, everything here is about getting money in business. That's why, Kala, you talk about, you're capitalist and you embrace capitalism and you embrace other systems.
Social responsibility.
Because that's what we have to do, family. We have to just find methods that work for us and figure it out. But the main thing I'm always saying to you, family, that literally going to these different countries and just thinking that you got to figure out, it just does not work like that. I've seen too many people fail. Kala, I've seen people fail. And then when people ask us, why are we here? We're here because we're making sure that we build the best game plan and make sure that we actually have the bridge built. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
when I go to the continent, bro, like I said, I'm not gonna fail. And also,
long term.
older, Now I know a lot of people, a lot of young guys in their 30s and 20s. I figure, okay, you got 3 years away. I don't got 3 years to waste. I'm in my 50s. I don't have years. So every year counts with me. I'm getting older. Say the Bomani, we're getting older. We can't do that. So therefore, when we do, what I don't like is somebody in their 50s. Oh, I'm just gonna go to the continent and whatever like that. Dude, you can't. You're not no spring chicken. I remember I watched that movie, Cry Freedom. Right, this was stuck in my head. Right, remember the part Richard Klein was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give vindication to Steve Biko." Right, and she goes, I think what's his name, Jeffrey. I forgot his name. What his name was in the movie. Right, she goes, "You're 43 years old." And I thought something. She goes, "You are 43 years old. What are you gonna do?" Yo, 43 is like young, man. She said, "You're 43." I'm like, damn, man, that is old. So you look, when look, bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. As you get older, right? When you're in your 40s, right? People expect you to be established in life a little bit.
Yes.
You cannot be 40 or 50 years old, bumming around Africa, bumming around the world with nothing established, right? They expect you to come to the. I remember I saw this. O'Shea D. Jackson said this years ago, right? He said, "Look, what I would like to see is more African Americans, right? Is going to Africa competing, right?
That's it.
Going to competing, investment clubs, investment groups and everything. Going down there where the businesses, where the where they trade, where the stock rooms are, where the financial sector is, where the tech companies are, competing on that level, right? That's what we need right there, and you can only do that when you're unified as a force. We've asked how many times on this show how many people that have grant writing skills, right? Grant writing skills, right? We have people that will spend their time, right? They'll come here on social platforms and everything, and they'll have skills. They'll have things that we need, right? Instead of saying, something, this is my part to the thing. Back in the days, much as black people talk about the black church, right? But do you know, without the black people back in the days, the Nation of Islam and the black church wouldn't have been nothing? If people realized what the black church was able to do as far as organizing pantries and stuff like this, they had people that had education. People, when you see them newsletters from churches, somebody had to type that up. Somebody had to print that up. Now they got websites and everything. That's people coming in saying, I believe in this mission, right? I'm a volunteer, my time, right? Pastor such and such, man, by Saturday night, I'm gonna have that for you, and we're gonna this all laid out. We need that sort of energy in the Pan-African movement. That's what I mean by working together. It's just basically working together. If you basically could put together a program and everything like that from A to Z, contacts and everything, and these people are gonna be there together, that's worth millions of dollars right there. It's not just money, your time and your skill and your expertise, your organizing skill, what you have to produce a movement is worth millions of dollars, And so what I'm seeing is, and I'm not trying to knock my people, is I've seen a lot of people in the Pan-African movement never been involved in a black organization or any organization before, because remember something, the Nation of Islam grew because they had people that came right from the black church into the Nation of Islam. They knew how to organize it. They had their people now to put together. Let's say they had an event. There was no white people going there setting up the sound and the microphones and everything. They had to do that all themselves. People had skills, and they weren't getting paid for it. But that's what it is when you have an organization. Where they put together anything, events and everything like that. Those people make sure the food was right. People make sure everything was to the T. So you go in and like, wow, all this is put together and everything, and it's volunteer people from the church just getting together, building. That's the sort of energy we're going to need in the Pan-African movement, right? We can't just have a bunch of people who just like to hear my voice and hear Bomani's voice. We need people saying, something, I'm organizing a study group in my community, my neighborhood right here. I heard about Bomani's movement, heard about Kala's movement and everything. We're going to have a study group, right? We're going to meet once every month and everything. We're going to talk about this stuff, right? And we're going to talk about how we could do to contribute everything. I know some people that's college students. I know some people that's college educated. They talked about Africa and everything, but we found the two guys that's doing this and everything. Let's meet among ourselves and everything. And then basically, let's meet and do this stuff like that. So therefore, we're coming together as strength. And you're going to need that sort of energy if you're talking about going to another country. You know, I don't understand how people expect it. Now, if you plan to just go there, just living and sipping Mai Tais every day, you know, and going and looking at the statue of Kwame Nkrumah and whatnot, okay, that's fine, you know. But the whole thing is, this is a movement about nation building. Because why? Because in the future, right, when it's all said and done, right, the novelty of us coming to Africa will wear off. You know, you're up against people who are coming to Africa that got something to bring. You know, Indians are bringing something to Africa. The Lebanese are bringing something to Africa. The Chinese are bringing something to Africa, right? You can't just go there. Oh man, I'm a Liberian now. I'm again. It don't work like that. You know, they people welcome you as a brother and everything, but people, when you come in from the United States, right? People expect more out of you. Now, if you basically, and also you are representing us in Black America, and I want to see the best and brightest of us shine on the African continent. And I'm just seeing basically, we're not. I don't think, for the most part, we don't see a lot of the best and the brightest of us going on Africa. We have a lot of smart people, but what? They're not organized. You know, everybody's a rugged individualist. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I got my land. Don't tell me. I got my land. I'm doing good. But what if you basically are organized? You know you don't have all the resources you have. What if we start working together? I don't need to work there. Yes, you do, because you always work with people who have similar circumstances in you, similar background to you. You haven't learned that in 400 years. You know, when immigrants come to this country, Nigerians, they hook up with other Nigerians. That don't mean they hate Black Americans. That don't mean they're not trying to embrace America. When immigrants come to America, they basically stay in their enclaves and everything. And they gradually basically acclimate themselves there. But the comfort is that when they spend the holidays together, they do business together, it's going to be people. Especially I see this with the Filipino community here. The Filipino community here in Virginia Beach, they came here in the 1960s, in the 60s. And they have a Filipino cultural society and events and everything. And they have different Filipino families, sometimes social clubs and everything. Sometimes they don't like each other, sometimes they hate each other, but they're always around each other. Some of them got their own kickboxing schools and, businesses and everything. I'm friends with a lot of Filipinos, that do business. My boy Jojo and Roy, these Filipinos and everything. They tell me, they almost show me about how the Filipinos tapped into the Sister City projects in the city of Virginia Beach, right? And they're getting millions of dollars. A buddy of ours, Ron Villanueva, this is funny. He ran for state. He was state delegate, right? And he tapped into this minority money thing, right? That he's supposed to do. Guess what, man? $8 million came up missing, right? And I asked Jojo. I said he got 2 years, right? Because everybody went up there and said Ron was he was a star. He was the first Filipino elected statewide in Virginia. I was friends with him, first Filipino, and the Dabus, right? Mr. Dabu, the elder Dabu guy. I always thought the Dabus were racist, But anyway, he basically, he makes the Filipino mouth. This dude walked off with like $8 million, right? And basically he gave like $2 million back, and everybody's like, where's the rest of that money, right? And I said, I talked to Jojo not too long ago. I said, where's Ron at? He goes, he's in the Philippines. So he made off with all that money. He's in the Philippines now, But that money, he made the Filipino community bad because they were taking a lot of that money and investing in businesses back in the Philippines, but he pocketed a lot of the money. But I said to myself, Black people in America, we don't know nothing about this, because he was on a Human Rights Council too, and he told me, he said, yeah, man, the Sister City Project, man, the cities invest money in developing countries and everything. And this Filipino community and a lot of the people, the home villages back in the Philippines, they got major investments back there, money, millions of dollars. Virginia Beach is a rich city. Millions of dollars worth of contracts, with the shipyard and stuff like that, tied to the Philippine Manila Bay and stuff like Manila and stuff like the Subic Bay, everything. And I said to myself, that was 3 years ago. I said, man, I got to learn about the Sister City Project. So I said, my guy, the BAO, Ron, older brother, he went to the Sister City Project for Ghana, right? and a bunch of white people in there and everything. And he was asking about business, and all they wanted to do was talk about dances and libations and everything. But the other people, the French Sister City, and the people that were doing other countries, they talk about business. But the one for Ghana, all they wanted to talk about is culture and stuff like that. And I said, man, so we got to change this, So I say, those of you who listen to this, right? Find out if your city has a sister city project, sister city connection. And then find a country in Africa, a city or country in Africa that you could plug with your city back home. There's all kinds of resources right there, financial, all kinds of stuff, because the world is becoming more global. And so therefore, that's why I said we have to be organized on that level. So the person who might do that might not be a staunch Pan-Africanist and everything, but if the person is willing to work with you, right, you be the Pan-African plug, and just let that person do what he has to do to get the money or whatever like that you need to, like that, or lure investment. When you bring investment to a country, right, you're creating jobs, right, and you're creating opportunity, and then you become valuable to a country. That strengthens your hand in negotiating. Look what we did, man. We got a major U.S. company to open up an auto parts factory over here. And then, wow, you guys pull that off? Yeah. You have to bring something to the table. And you can only do that by being organized, and working cooperatively, as individuals and as a collective. Everybody has individual projects and everything, but you come together as a collective, right, to get stuff done. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Why are we individualistic? And I've seen now that it's and my report card, my Pan-African report card is, I'm giving the community a D-, because I see more individualism on the continent than I see in America. You mean tell me the only thing that keeps us together in America is racism? When you're a majority Black country, no, it don't work like that. Now if it was different, if you could go to Africa and we could just like the Asians are. Asians really, they have their own social clubs and everything, but when Asians have built Asia up so much, right? A Chinese can go to 20 different countries and fit right in. We don't have that right now. We didn't build the infrastructure in the Black world here in the West, and we don't have no connection with the Black world on the African continent. So therefore, we have to take these steps of building Afrikstan, building this stuff like this, because it does not exist. Now, if Africa was developed, okay, and Africa spent the last 70 years really developing and industrializing, it wouldn't be no need for an Afrikstan, there'd be no need for it, but because that did not happen, right, and we're starting from scratch, that means we have to build infrastructure, and we have to build infrastructure that we protect this and build this pipeline such that it does not exist right now. You go to the shipyard in Norfolk and in Portsmouth, you see the ships coming in, you see, one day I'm gonna do a video, right, and see the trains coming in, unloading the trailers, like a mile long, and at the Port Authority, and you see Japanese names on there. You see Arab names. Years ago, all you saw was Chinese and Japanese, right, and Koreans, right?
You're talking about the shipping ports.
Shipping ports, right? But I have never seen an African country on one of those containers. Never once. And this is like the 4th largest port in the world, right here in Portsmouth, in Norfolk. The terminals. And I go to West Norfolk area, and I go across there where they widen it. We used to see it now, bro. And when in Portsmouth, and it connects Norfolk and Portsmouth through the tunnel and everything to the Midtown Tunnel. It's really wide. It looks really nice. So you can you can look over there, see the shipyard and the cranes and everything. It just looks beautiful. The way they got it set up and everything like that. You got hundreds of trucks coming in, and it's like it's so busy, And I'm saying to myself, I said all that business going on, right? Whether we want to or not. And I don't see the Black man involved in it. We're down there working, most of the workers down there, the truckers, the welders, everything are black. But the business of where the real money and wealth and the power is, it's not in the hands of the black man. You know, it's the Asians, it's the Arabs, it's all these other, Singapore, little tiny Singapore got fleets of ships coming in there. You know, little tiny Singapore has one of the world's largest shipping fleets. You know, and so therefore, this is what I'm talking about. We have to work together. You know, as a race, as a people. You know, so cooperative economics means that doesn't mean that people have this idea that cooperative economics means that back in the days. Okay, I get Dr. Mulana Karenga. I love Dr. Karenga. I'm not trying to be funny, man. I love Dr. Karenga and everything like that. But I remember when I came up with my Kala Genesis Bomani, right? I had brothers coming to me, what are you talking about, man? I ain't no cooperative economics. I said, look, man, I'm talking about modern banking, finance, and stuff like trade and everything. No, man, cooperative economics mean we do, man. To put the black, I said, look, there is no such thing as a black dollar, you know? I said, you guys are still trying to create this elusive black dollar. Until we have land of our own where we control the economy, right? Then all the money that we have is in our ecosystem. We do not have that. Like I told you about the black towns, right? And the black towns that were destroyed in Black America, right? We used to have a time where black people had money because you spent 90% of your money with other black people. You know, everybody had money in their pocket back in the days. You know, black people had money back in the 30s and 40s and all that. We had money. While white people were killing themselves during the Great Depression, black people were doing fine. We're like, man, how are these black people doing that, man? We're going there and we're doing we're doing our fish fries and everything. White folks going crazy and whatnot, robbing banks and everything, you know. And we're sitting there, black people like, oh, what depression? Depression? What the heck? Depression? What? You know, you know, we were just living good, man, even during depression, because we pulled our money together and everything like that, you know. And people are like, how the hell these people do it? Because we stayed among ourselves. You know, we stayed among ourselves. We basically worked together and we did build certain things, you know. So, like I said, we got to stop beating up on our people like we, you know, good all the time and look at the good that Black America is able to do and draw inspiration from that. Because if you believe your people never did anything, you know, good, you ain't don't tell me you believe that nationhood is a possibility. I'm drawing on the fact that I study my ancestry, I study my history, and I know Black America, we're great people. We're great people. You know, and I look at every day, I'm finding out about new black inventors and stuff like that, you know, that did so much for science and everything, you know. But the whole thing is our culture, we don't control our culture. You know, our enemies basically put the very worst of Black America out before the world and make it seem like that's who we are. We're great people. We come from the best. We produced the world's first non-black billionaire, Reginald Lewis, in 1987, at the height of the Cold War. You know, in the height of inflation in America, Reginald Lewis became the world's first black billionaire. You know, I don't even think there was a Japanese billionaire at the time. World's first non-white billionaire. Wrote the book, Why Should All the White Guys Have All the Fun? We basically produced men like John Johnson, Ebony Magazine. And the whole thing is we have always been a resilient people that never give up. And so therefore, like I said, this Pan-African movement is now going to be the inheritors of that greatness that is Black America, okay? Too long that the Pan-African movement has been on the outline of Black culture and everything. The other day, we was talking about Afram Fest. Yeah, we take that. You know, Afram was a great thing, African American festival and everything. So the Pan-African movement is now embracing the beauty of Black America. Why? Because it's that beauty in Black America that we want to combine with our experience in Africa. We're not going there as weak, defeated people, talk about, oh yeah, waiting for somebody. No, we are great people and we have a lot to contribute to our mother continent. You know, that's the attitude we have to take. We're coming on the shoulders of great men, you know, Benjamin Banneker, you know, Charles Drew, you know, and all these other people that created things for us, you know, Lewis Latimer, all the great inventors, all the great the transition to our ancestors. You know, we're coming on the backs of John Johnson, founder of Ebony Magazine, one of the best publications the world's ever seen. you know. And so we're basically coming on the back of Earl Graves, Black Enterprise Magazine, all the great stuff that our ancestors fought for and built and everything. We are now the inheritors of that. You know, we're sick of giving it over to race traders and people like that, America lovers. You know, we're taking ownership of the black accomplishment and black achievement. We're putting that in the Pan-African column. You know, we're not gonna let America have take credit for our success and our attributes and everything, right? And then blame us for all then give us all the shit that is Black America. No, we'll take ownership of the failures, right? But we're also going to be standing on the backs of the people, the pioneers, the people who built shit. Speaking of which, my book, Journey to the Promised Land, Voyage of Barkazor, I'm now in talks with people, with a major film company that want to make this book into a movie, a motion picture. So, like I said, many years of hard work, okay? I did a Blue Ink review. I did a press release like 6-7 years ago. And I did a lot of stuff and everything. I talked about the book at length and everything. But somehow the right people found it, okay? And they read the book and said, wow, that's going to make a good movie. Because why? They see the success of the Woman King. They're like, okay, there's a market for stuff like this, Black history. You know, and the book has a lot of action. It's very, very well good. So if you want to get the book on Amazon, okay, order the book and everything. So we're basically talking to film studio interested. More will come. We'll see how it works out. But the book is on the radar of filmmakers that want to make it into a movie. You know, I'm blessed to say that. I'm proud to say that. You know, it just shows you what God has for us, and what, you know, if you be patient and be diligent, things will work out. It's time for this movement, right, to not be sidelined by the internet, right? It's time for Kala Genesis Bomani and everybody else, right, to come up to the level. For example, I don't mean to knock my brother Akon, right? But people actually taking him seriously as a Pan-Africanist, right? Akon recently, the other day, said, I believe Young Thug and whatever the other clown's name is good dudes. So this is somebody you want to follow to Senegal. You know, are we trying to get away from that lifestyle? Do you know that Liar Cohen is one who created all these goons and everything? Dame Dash talked about that. How you wouldn't. So the bottom line, there's a concerted effort of putting the worst of Black America out there to destroy our culture, destroy our youth and everything. Death, destruction, and violence. Is that who we are? So you tell me that other people keep their culture pure and clean and everything. You watch the CMT Country Music Awards, all these people with cowboy hats and everything. You don't have Trace Atkins pointing a gun at Toby Keith or whatever like that, you know. You don't have Garth Brooks beefing in the back room with Dolly Parton. It's like, whoa. So therefore, they have their country and everything. That's supposed to be their redneck culture, but it's so clean and everything. But look at what they do with us when they show us things. This is why we say we need a nation of our own. Do you think if we had a nation of our own and we had our own producers and censors and people like that, you think, what do you think our culture will look like if you on the media? What do you think our media will look like? What do you think our popular culture will look like? Would it look wholesome? Give you an example. Look how beautiful apple pie culture is in South Africa. That you don't see the gang thug stuff in Africa. Why? Because they have control over their culture. Black America has no control over culture. Look at Jamaica. Jamaica just recently banned all music that's negative, you know, that promotes gang violence. They say, look, we can't do it. You know, find something else to do. You know, find some other thing. We don't want it on our airways. We don't want it on our stuff. You know, and that's what other people do. They take control of that culture. They don't like garbage. If you don't take control of your culture, you are not a nation. You're not a people. If you look up and see the worst image of yourself and everything, and you say, well, then you're not a free people.
Yes, absolutely, brother. I appreciate you laying that point out about we're not a free people, because family, we're literally trapped in a modern day open prison, and the people who are offered opportunities. And this is, I just want to make sure, you know, we always got to give these disclaimers, because, you know, everybody's so sensitive when we say certain things. I'm not saying that Black people who are successful or in whether it's music or athletics, that they are that they're just lucky and things like that. We do understand that people have skills and people have talents and things, but what we're saying is that the people that we're going to and the people that we have to go through and connect to, since we don't have much in these industries built, we don't have the we don't have the setup, the distribution, and we don't have the marketing, we don't have the media outlets. So family, I don't know what else clearer to say to us that if the people who are looking to produce your music and looking to give you an opportunity, if everything that they're pushing on you is literally just negative, and then people who are coming with positive, conscious energy won't get certain deals, it's just obvious that literally these things are put in place, number one, to for you to maintain your own. It's like you're trying to explain to people that we're in a system that we maintain our own oppression, and aspect of that is the culture, and part of the culture is the music, and yeah. I mean, we all listen to whatever music we listen to when we were younger and things like that. And you always hear your mother or somebody say that these words are terrible and things like that, because that's how it does sound. Sometimes I'm listening to a song and every single other word is N, N's and B's. And maybe I'm just getting older or whatever, but
no, it's not you getting older. You just got to say. Let me give you an example, right?
right?
I saw a video, a thing. I think it was Lauryn Hill, right? And she was interviewing J. Rue the Damager. Remember him? J. Rue.
Oh yeah, that's one. That's one of my brothers right there. J. Rue.
J.
East
Rue.
New York, Brooklyn.
East New York, Brooklyn, right? So anyway, J. Rue the Damager was basically angry. He was like a nice guy, but they asked him about white people. He said, "Yo, fuck white people,"
Right,
and he said, "I said J. Rue," man. And I said, and they were like, "Why?" She said, "Because look, because he said, remember, see, people don't realize this, man. I remember all this stuff, right? I remember my brother was going through when he made that song, "You Played Yourself" with everything.
Yeah, and the other song about the papers, and you're talking about fake ass people like Puffy.
Yeah, right. So the bottom line is this: the truth is coming out now. That was a concerted effort, right, by these Lion Cones and all these Jewish guys to basically bring these dudes in from the hood, right? And Dame Dash saying, "Yeah, that's what happened," right?
Yeah, you showed me the video, man. That was a good video. That was on point. Yeah, that was on point.
Yeah, that was on point. But I see back then,
it was,
right?
It was right to the point.
Check this out. Back then, I knew that, right? I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew something was wrong. And basically it was like this, babe. You guys are gonna be under us, right? We're your masters, right? But we're gonna give you a chance to be above them, right? You're gonna be on every rap magazine, you're gonna be at MTV and everything. And so therefore, these guys see Dame and Dash jumping ship because he knows what's coming down. I don't know whether they're looking at shows like this and see what's going on social media. They're like, this is not going to sustain itself, because they knew they sold out. They say, look, they put all this cash in there, right? There's two guys, Dame and Jay-Z and whatnot. They came up there. Jay-Z said he made $500,000 from selling drugs, whatever. He said, I want to get into the record industry. And he with this guy, Lion Cole, said, and we'll make that happen. They formed Rockefeller Records and everything, right? And so for a time period, it looked good, man. And be honest with myself, I wanted to see that, right? I wanted to see these guys making money and everything, right? But you would figure after a while it would transition to something else, right? But these people, after they got done with Jay-Z and them, they said they found a formula, and it's now worse with this trap drill music, where they openly talk about murder, killing, everything. Jay-Z, I remember I used to watch this. So that was my club years. Back in the early 2000s, remember that? I'm a hustler, baby.
Yeah, brother, that was that's our era, so we can literally talk about it.
Right.
I'm not saying the music was nice and it wasn't as destructive, but one thing I do remember that in the earlier 90s, it was more of a level of conscious hip hop.
Right. They got rid of that. They got rid of that. Right.
Now it's just like it's open season on foolishness, to where to where it's being pushed to the highest level, where it just anything goes. And then the reality of it is you don't have to have what you used to have back in the days. Everything was about lyrical skills. Everything was, and you have to be, like we talk about somebody like the Jizza from from Wu-Tang Clan.
The
One of the
Jizza, man,
nicest
that was a
that ever grabbed the
genius.
mic and just and put the straight put power in his words. Now you may hear a few little profanity here and there, but it was limited, and it has gotten worse and worse. And I'm telling people the reason why that is because the powers that be that control your music, that's what they push, and that's what they want us to push.
Yeah, and that's what
they have no respect for us, no respect for our culture, and because that's another form of how you're going to be controlled.
They control us.
Yeah. So when we talk about Afrikstan and we want to do certain things, I want to see our young children in Africa, build their craft, build their craft without having to be, go through certain things. Like you always hear about how sick some of these industries are, like the music industries, and how they prey on little boys and girls. And then
all that
20 years later, you hear about this young singer. The reason why he commits suicide because people are taking turns doing nasty things to him, and so on. And that's what we talk about, family. Is this really where we have arrived? We don't. So when we talk about the Afrikstan analysis and talking about getting land in Africa, investing, nation building, and doing things like this beautiful community here, it's really just to say, hey, if you want to be literally free and literally just be able to control your destiny, you're gonna have to build the Black African infrastructure that you need. You're gonna have to build all the institutions, and you're gonna have to do that. And do we have the resources to do it? Absolutely. Just right here in America alone, you can pull that energy off, because we have so many Black people from all over the place. But it's like the issue is literally, some of us gonna have to step our game up. I understand leadership is a rough thing, and most people just are not built for it. At the same time, too, some of us have to lead the blind. So here you have Bomani Tyehimba and Kala Genesis sharing this wonderful connection with you. But then you turn around and ask, where's our level of support? Where's the anonymous $5, $10, $20 million that we need to be getting to do all these projects that we need to do in Africa to build the things that we need to build, so we can be more of an independent people. And if you want to produce the music you want to produce, you want to create, be completely creative without people psychologically controlling you. It's like, it's like you have a set of people say that they've been impressed, but then I'm sure they know that you've been impressed a million times worse than them. But it's just like a jungle out there, and then literally, just because people are making you these deals, and when people say, "Oh, I got $1 million deal," okay, you got $1 million deal. Ask Puffy what happened when he tell people they got $1 million deal.
And one way, no problems.
It's just so now you even have a situation where all of our people that's been in this industries that have been taken advantage of and put in a certain situation, they turn around and do it to our younger generation, and the cycle goes on and on and on and on and on. I remember the Locks, living off experience. New York-based rapper, one of the groups grew up liking. I was hearing them break it down, and when you hear so many people break down their stories, it's easy for someone like a Puffy to say, they all just doing this, but it's like, I'm not saying if 10 people out of 10 people say that you're doing a bunch of stuff that you're not doing it or you're doing it, but I'm just saying that we have to connect the dots. These industries are literally just wickedness, and then when you ask yourself, how many people come around with their souls intact, and how many people, and also the money that they need to do other things. Usually none of those things happen. You usually end up being executed, committing suicide, or being put on exile, or just being straight up this blackballed all the way through. So I'm telling people, is this the world that we want to aspire to where even if you want to be successful like a billionaire, you gotta
free.
Act in a way, you gotta literally carry yourself according to how people want you to be, and you can't stand for yourself. And we're seeing all of this play out with Kanye West and Kyrie Irving.
Right.
So I'm telling the rest of our generation, is this what you want to deal with? When you get to that level of being multi-millionaire in the hundreds of millions, and then you say one little statement, and then people want to sideline you and things like that. So I'm telling people, as much opportunities as we as a people have in this country, and as well as some of us are doing and things like that, this cannot be the end goal. This cannot be.
It's not. It can't be.
Where we need commitment. So we have to use these resources that we have here, and we have to connect with people like us that's doing things in Africa, and say, hey, where can I fit in? How can I connect with you guys and everything? And you don't have to be someone where just because you're trying to donate certain things to us, we put your face all on things. You can be you can be in the background, and that's what we need for people to do. Be in the background. It's like too many people out there that have this, fame and popularity to where they feel like they just need to just talk. As a matter of fact, a lot of times the best thing for some of you guys to do is just to be quiet and play the underground operation and do what you need to do and help us get things done. You don't have, no one has to know your business. No one has to know that you send Bomani Tyehimba of Africa for the Africans and Bomani Technology $5-10 million to do the projects that they need to do. We have websites up, we have projects, we have presentation, we have group tours, we have business going on. And, we're out here fighting to get our people connected. But I'm telling you, family, it is literally difficult. You have some people with you, but they're not really with you. And the other half of the people, they're literally just trolls and haters. And every moment they're watching you to see if something happens, so they can just say, "Oh, I told you so. I knew he wasn't gonna last long. I knew this was gonna happen to him." All this little negative energy. Literally, we're not gonna build nothing. So I'm telling people, two things you can do: you can roll with us or stay out of our way.
Or get rolled over.
Yeah, well, if you don't stay out of our way, you get rolled over.
You get rolled over.
An 18-wheeler right there. Go stand in front of an 18-wheeler and don't get out the way. You're gonna get steamrolled. And so the same thing we're telling you. Either get with the program or get out the way. And if you're not willing to get out the way, get steamrolled, because this has to happen. We can't let people stop us from building a future for our children, where our children have the greatest opportunity, where when they're a teenager, they can learn all of the skills and talents that they need. Why do they need to go to somebody's technical school or somebody's university? Why can't they learn those things when they're 13 and 19? So when you're dealing with the Black Star Pan-African community, people like myself, that my background is straight technology and business administration, and I have a whole bunch of other people with me on that. So when we tell people we're building a technical and business center, that right there, and it's just not just a little small little building. We talk about enterprise in an African continent where we can literally compete. And in order for us to compete, we can't wait for our children to go to university. It's too late. The Chinese, the Indians, and all of the competitive folks out there, they've already, by the time their children are in their teen years, they're ready to compete, in the world. They're working on those projects. Like you mentioned, building futuristic cities and learning all the technology to build those cities, and just to get them prepared. So by the time they hit adulthood, next thing you know, they're working for one of these corporations, and they
got these smart cities popping up in Asia. Why they're preparing their children and everything. And what are we preparing our children to be? Basketball players and rappers and stuff like this. This is why
exactly, and which is a problem. We should never force it. And some of us force our children to play sports. Like you ask my son, and I asked him about sports and things, but most of the time it would just be track and field and things. But to just force your children into this, people don't understand that world is rough. But because at some point, like injury is a serious thing. People like myself, I've been there, and the thing I'm thankful for every day is that I went to school, got an education, and I put myself in position to learn the skills and talents I need to progress. Because even with a bad back, family, or bad shoulder, or bad many things that people like myself have, you can still get up and do your business. But when you talk about being an athlete, you have to literally be in top conditions, and then it only takes one accident and things like that. You don't want to bet your life on that. But but if you're talented and you have those skills, you push on it. But the most important thing is we have to build these skills that we need. That way, when it's time for us to organize business, we have all the talents we need to get things done. One of the worst things is this, for someone to be just one of those proficient athletes, but then they're just completely uneducated or foolish. And I give you a great example of one. And I'm not saying I know this
Herschel
man.
Walker.
Yeah. But if this was Jeopardy, you would win $1 million. I mean, that's a great example. And I'm not here to knock the man's hustle. I'm just how it is, man. These white devils will put any little coon in place and get a little tokens.
And to be perfectly honest with you, right? I have not. I'm slowly but surely divorcing myself from American politics. I don't know. I have not. I heard that idiot Jamal Bryant going off Herschel Walker. That made me support him. Because he's an idiot. Jamal Bryant, idiot. After he said that thing about Kevin Samuels, and then you got Warfield Warnock. He's a clown. So I don't really know. I'm glad I don't live in the state of Georgia. I'm glad I don't live there.
It's gonna be interesting. I've been driving around the county, and they are prepared, brother. They are prepared for November 8th. Like the whole county, and anywhere else you drive. I guess and I wish them the best, honestly. And as being a citizen in the state, I wish them the best, and I hope it does work out in that situation, because you have more than enough, black folks running for government all over the state of Georgia. Like,
Right, but I like to
like
see these
historic.
black people that run for government. I don't see the situation for black people change.
Well, it's a black face, in a white
Yeah, white. That's what I said.
position
White
for the most part.
infrastructure and everything. You
So, but
know.
we want to. But I'm hoping that I'm hoping that we're proven wrong. I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
want to be proven wrong on this. I mean,
I've been
I remember
doing
we
this.
were excited about Barack Obama. We
Yeah,
always excited about all
Obama,
these
man.
black
That was
mayors.
just people. People like,
But
yo,
look who the vice president was, Jim Crow Joe.
Joe. And then now it all comes together, right? It comes together now.
I mean, he was handpicked to run with him and to set up.
Right. Because you know why? Because
now.
he's that old white. He was a white guy. You always gotta have the white guy. He was a safe white guy. That have the white interest. So okay, and Democrats are more racist than Republicans are. To tell you the truth,
Yeah, this guy been in office for 50 years.
He never did anything.
And then he has had almost every single position you can have in government. It kind of reminds me of some of the people that work for the airlines, been there 40, 50 years, and you're like, yo, can you guys retire so some of us can get...
And you know something about Biden, right? He's from the state. He's from Pennsylvania, but he basically got an office in Delaware because he couldn't run in Senate. He couldn't win Senate in Pennsylvania because look who they had, all inspector. They had Philadelphia. That's a powerful, potent day. So he had to go to a little state like Delaware to really. So he comes from the most backward state in the country, and he runs for Senate. So I mean, wait a minute. I was like, oh, he was senator. From what state? Delaware. You got to be kidding me. At least Barack Obama was smart enough to become a senator in the state of Illinois. Illinois and Chicago political machine, the most powerful political machine in the country. He came up in that. You can give him that credit. But Joe Biden, Delaware, you got to be kidding me. Delaware, and you want to run for president? Get the hell out of here. It's just a mess. And also, I always remember it was just Kala. Just wait till he gets his second term. Wait till about second term. I said, okay. Well, I said let's see what he does.
Yeah, honestly, our people are too optimistic when it comes to politics and religion. I mean, I'm just, and I do understand at one point, that's what we had to work with, politics and religion. But we're in the 21st century now. We're in the world of black power, cooperative economics, where you putting your money together and building industries and corporation can give you more power than anything.
Let me ask you a question, Bomani. Here's the thing. Now, are black people I want to understand something, right? And maybe we can clear something up tonight, right? I'm getting the impression that when I'm looking at some of the popular YouTubers, Jason Black and all these people, I really don't think they're serious.
Is that the same person as Professor Black Truth?
It's the same person.
The same person, voice the same. They kind of
they're the same different. Two different, same person doing two different acts.
How does he look?
No one knows. No one ever seen his face.
So just like I'm looking at your face, I see how you look, and
Yeah, but no one has ever seen Jason Black's face.
So what is the point of? And I know before you get into the conversation, what is the point of that person not showing their face? And I'm sure
I have no idea, but he just doesn't show.
Oh! I forgot. The stuff he's talking about is so powerful that if he shows his face, they're gonna come to his house and they're gonna string him up and they're gonna lynch him, or they're gonna snatch him up and put him in some trumped up charges and everything. Is that it?
Right. Me, I'm like this. I have a business and everything. I show my face. I dare anybody to come step to me with anything, And people say, "Oh, Carl, I hate you." You know where I live. You can see me around town. You know what city I live in and everything. You have my face and everything. Anybody have
information is public records. That's what I tell
people. My
information
is public, everything. People know where I live. I give my address. Just come to my house and tell me about it,
Yeah, like I'm always telling people, it's like you haters got strength for people who you know what I'm saying, who's not even doing you anything. You know what I mean? But the people who are pressing you and or creating a system to do what they do to you.
Right, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what
I mean. Fight back is like y'all all know the system is what it is.
Yeah, check us out. Like, this is what I'm talking about with this guy. Brother. Check us out. Okay, like say what you want about Donald Trump, right? When he says, "Look, give me a vote, I'll give you a platinum plan, billions of dollars investment." Black people didn't want that. So it shows me that black people aren't even serious about doing anything, right? You know what it is? Social media. Now, if you got black people who are really serious, like I said, we're not organized. I'm gonna go back to the top of the show, right? we're all individuals, right? But we don't have associations and organizations speaking as a collective, right? What if instead of going on social media asking a random idiot on social media what he thinks, right? You go to the Black Business Development Association, right? They exist, but you notice something, right? These people out there doing work, they don't have time to be on Facebook and YouTube, okay? So they're not out there. So who do we listen to on Facebook and YouTube and everything? Tariq Nasheeds. We listen to all these goofballs on YouTube and everything, right? Well, the people that actually doing work in the community, right? They get no shine, because God forbid if you have a YouTube channel and you put somebody on and, oh man, I worked so hard to get this channel up when you ain't gonna shine on me. And so we really don't have any real Black media, right? That's why I said we can't rely on YouTube and everything, because Jason Black and all these other people, even Phil, I like Phil and everything, they're only out for themselves, you know?
Break it down, brother. Let's put you on live and break this down. Give these people the record card as you talked about.
Yeah. So all the Black so-called media, they get an F. Why? Because the last election, they told us, oh, the Black media, the new Black media is going to turn out. New Black media would end up being a joke. They basically took the bait on that stupid reparations issue. It's about reparations or else. And guess what? The Democrats said, or else what? We're going to stay home. And they stole the election anyway. So the new Black media said, how did that work out? We were sitting dissing the Democrats and everything, and they still won. You know, so how did that work out for the new Black media? You know, nothing. You had no influence on Black people voting or not voting.
This is a good one also.
Tariq had reparations day today, and that boots on the ground. They're doing what? All that was is people. Tariq showing up to boost himself up, to give himself some sort of legitimacy. You know, anybody who tells you that there's a serious movement for reparation is lying to you. These are people who are just trying to stay relevant. They don't have the guts to be like, okay, what we're going to do is be something serious. Nation building and what we're trying to build in Africa is real, tangible. Okay? You're never going to get a check from the United States government. That's never going to happen. Right? And then what they're doing is this. First of all, if you basically are talking about reparations or whatever like that, you have to be tied to nationhood, right? You cannot be a citizen of a country and sue the same country with reparations. Let me break something down to you. The Japanese had to pay the Chinese, the Koreans, the Philippines reparations in World War II. Germany had to pay the state of Israel, had to pay Poland, had to pay UK, all these people reparations, you know? Yeah, Israel was a state. It was a government. It was a government entity. Black America is not a government entity. It's not a geopolitical entity.
So is that the why? Is that the why? Because is that the why? The why we're because
exactly.
That's what people need to know.
You cannot wave the American flag, calling yourself a citizen, and benefit from America through welfare, through the America's infrastructure, education, everything you get in America, and say, I want reparations. Germany had to pay the state of Israel its reparations to Jews who wanted to settle there. The Japanese had to pay China the state reparations. Germany had to give billions of dollars to France, England, the Netherlands, all those countries that invaded Russia. All these people got German money for decades, and they paid off all these countries back for the damage they did. Why? Because they lost the war. America didn't lose any war. America's not going to pay anything. So do you understand that? So I'm going to try to give you guys some education here, because a lot of these people leading you guys around talking about reparations, they don't know what they're talking about. Reparations, you're talking about an act of war. You know, when the United States defeated Spain in the Spanish-American War, the Treaty of Paris, right? Spain had to pay reparations to the United States and the Philippines for its war loss. Reparations is something you pay by treaty, right, when you lose a war. And you have to do that, right, because you have to do that. Germany in World War II, World War I, right, what led to World War II was the fact that the Versailles Treaty was unfair to Germany. And basically, Britain and France instigated the World War I, right? And then basically, when Germany lost, which we helped do it, it was the Harlem Hellfighters and everything helped win the war. The people in Germany was blamed for the World War I. And Germany lost a lot of its possessions in the Pacific. It lost a lot of territories overseas and everything. France and all these countries carved up the German Empire and everything. And that's what brought Hitler to power. You know, the anger of the Versailles Treaty. You know, they had to pay reparations back and everything like that, you know. And so the same thing basically will happen if Russia loses the war in Ukraine. Russia will have to pay Ukraine back reparations. So Russia's going to make sure it wins, it's not going to pay Ukraine back anything. Now, should Russia pay Ukraine reparations? Why would Russia pay? Who's going to make them pay? Reparations are done through force, not because it's the right thing to do. See, the reason why the Kala Genesis is here, the reason why I'm the chief host of the Voice of the Kala Nation radio show, and I'm the Kala Genesis, because I tell you like it is. Nation building and nationhood and all this stuff like this. Oh Lord, not Al Kuhn. Al Kuhn is here tonight, and you know, shut up. You know, Al Kuhn's in the chat room. Anyway, the bottom line is this: when you talk about nationhood and you want a nation of your own on the continent of your ancestors in Afrikstan, and you make that move over there, then you'll be in a position to ask for a demand reparations. Why? Because we could basically cut the United States and the West off from the continent of Africa. That's the power we won't probably see in our lifetime, but future generations are going to have. We're going to control the African continent, right? With our African brothers and sisters, right? But we have to build like this. You are behind enemy lines in America. You're inside the borders of America. You are what they say you are. You're not a sovereign people. You're not a free people. You have no land. You have no flag. You have no military. You have no representation in the UN. You don't exist.
Okay, perfect. Kala, quick thing. All right. So what if I have $2 billion? Am I free? What if I have million
as long as they can freeze your assets?
What if I have a deal with Nike? Can Nike shut me down? Can this company?
Yeah, you know, they can take your billionaire status away. Look at this. They tell him, Diddy, you better stay right. You know, it's all illusion. You know, like Kanye, right? I believe Kanye's gonna bounce back and become a billionaire without him, because Adidas always told her they're gonna continue selling the shoes. So this is all basically telling you, if we don't like you, we're gonna take something that you don't. Black people that are rich want that billionaire status. You know, they want that billionaire status. So Diddy's a billionaire. I thought he was a billionaire a year ago. Remember that? Remember they said he was a billionaire a year? Now he's officially a billionaire. That's because they say, okay, Diddy, we're gonna give you a chance. You know, all they do is line up a bunch of contracts they're gonna give him, right? They say, this is what your estimate worth.
I got you.
This is what your estimate. This is what you're worth, right? And we're gonna report in Forbes that you're a billionaire, right? So you can walk around saying, I'm a billionaire, right? And you get out of line. We're gonna look at all the stuff Kanye lost. That was worth billions of dollars.
And that's what I'm saying. How can people say that? You know, how can people say the things they're saying and talk against what we're talking about when we see people, you know, when we see, remember Nick Cannon Nick Cannon was talking a bunch of stuff. And, you know, and like I tell people, the things that I hear,
apologize.
We have Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, and we have a whole bunch of scholars. Everything that you hear from these rappers or people talking about the situation they're going through, it's been analyzed and laid out. And I'm telling you, family, it's real. So if you know it's real, or you know, you can either do two things. You can either accept the situation and, you know, and be a good boy, like many of the people that you see that you don't ever hear anything going on with.
It's like this.
Or you can, well, let me finish it real quick. Or you can be like the people that we see, and then you're out there and on the chopping block. Or you can literally just reach out to us and literally just build the future what we're building. And let me put up this one comment, Kala, while I'm talking about this. And you can build what we talk about building Afrikstan, or you can just literally listen to people like this coon right here, Hard Truth. You're not Africa, and Africa is not going to let you set up shop there. So this is what I'm telling people. I'm right here. Well, who's not letting me set up shop? I'm right here.
He says that doesn't exist. Remember him and that other clown said.
The main thing I could tell people is every video, every time we do documentation, aerial view, there's one thing about me, I'm the king of presentation. It's just that the things that we're involved in, you know, most of our people don't see the vision. It's kind of like going back in Garvey days. You know, people just didn't see the vision. But we're laying out here for you and say there's only so many chances we're going to get. And this is a community. It's a whole town. It's not just the 15 and 60 acres we have. It's a whole town. And we have two people there in our office for America. They're building the relationships there in the town and everything. And we're getting things done. And, I have a few business ventures that we're building, from our nonprofits to government contracts and a few things. And I'm telling you, people, regardless of whatever sideline haters staying in mama's basement, 40-year-old virgin, don't have any experience in life, say that's their business. But what we're telling you, family, is it doesn't matter what you say or what you believe. We're putting our money where our mouth is, and we're out here doing this. And then we're also analyzing the situation with what all of our faithful people who just love America and love all of the things about America and think that it's just it's the end game for us. And then we tell you, all right, if it's the end game for us, why every time any black person will have an issue with the system, speak up, what happens to them, and how far can you go as a black entrepreneur by putting your money together and building something completely black power, like the things that, like all the things that all the things that we're building in Africa and this community. It will be an issue here. So I'm telling people, this is where we have to build it, because we know better. We know the situation. So, and if people don't understand the situation, look at the situation. The situation, you're being censored all the way whenever you're trying to share anything. You're gonna be watched. People like ourselves, you're not being watched like that. But it's like, if we have people like Kari and Kari and Kanye literally going through what they're going through, take that as a lesson. What are you gonna do different to progress in society? You're not gonna do anything different. You're gonna go with the game plan, or you're just gonna get sidelined. So if you want to have control of your destiny and future, you have to build that future. And we're clear to build the community, and we're clear to build the town, and we're clear to set up our Afrikstan program in this town. And anybody that don't believe me, your talk is cheap, because number one, you've never been to Africa, you've never been to where we are. And if you don't believe us, you can go there and check it out. And then nothing else, you'll see all of the things that's gonna go up that you or nobody's gonna stop. And because the mindset of people like this is a destructive mindset that literally we have too many people. It's like you see us out there doing what we're doing, and all you have is your negative mindset of thinking. So I'm always asking them, what are you doing in America to progress our black people? So if hard truth, if you have any balls, or if you're a real man, what I mean, you can join us. We get down. But if you come on, you got to bring it. You can't come on with your foolishness and things like that. Because if you really are serious about what you're talking about and you believe, you put your money where your mouth is, and you show commitment. And that's the issue that we have. It's so easy for so much people just to talk a bunch of stuff and things like that. So I'm telling you, folks, when we build this right here, people like these coons right here, you're not gonna be able to come to our community. And if we catch you, you know what I mean? You catch you, remember, we're gonna have our own town. So we're gonna definitely get you arrested and put your ass to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Our truth, you're not my people though. Our truth, I don't have to be your people. You're Indian. You're a fake wannabe Native American. You're not someone who, what I mean, you're not someone who, who is black. As a matter of fact, people like yourself don't show your face. You're just like these fake Professor Black Truth and this other guy, Jason Black, and things like that. You people just talk a lot of stuff, and it's a simple thing. And anybody who comes on here is, if you cannot answer the question, you automatically get dropped. You can't answer the question, we automatically just educate you. You have to be able to tell us, what are you doing to progress black people? If you can't say that, you have no voice, and you need to shut the hell up, because people like yourself are the people who, as a matter of fact, the day when it really comes down, people like yourself, you're gonna be the first set of people we snatch up. First set of people you snatch up, because literally you be the first people who run and give our position to the enemy. And it's always a situation that we're talking about, family. So family, I always like to just make sure that we just pick out one or two of these fools, because they're all, and you find these people in your organization, they'll be giving donations and they'll be investing, and all they want to see is that it falls apart, so they could be happy with themselves, that since other black people are not progressing, they feel good about themselves because they're not about anything. So we have to, if we're going to be a serious people, family, we have to work to shut down these troll agents, and we have to work to where we show these people what we're doing, and things like that. So many people are jealous of us, the fact that they see us in Africa and they see us making moves to where only thing they want us to do is fail. But I'm telling people, family, I've never failed at much in my life. I've been successful all my careers and all the things I've worked towards, and I've just been progressing and progressing. And I've built Africa for the Africans towards an investment. And now we have invested our earnings into this land and this community so we can help our people return home and get our people to do what we talk about on this slide, Black cooperative investment. You know what I'm saying? So yes, brother Kala, none of them want to come on. I think they all
Check this
they
out.
all shaking in their boots.
Check this out. What you call it? I'm looking at this thing right here on YouTube. It says blacks not wanted here. Shopping while black. Expensive shops use racist codes when black. How often are you gonna keep going through this? You know?
How can you be a free people and that's what you go through? How can you be a free people and then you have rich people, get turned away from certain things?
Right. So they don't even want the rich black people's money. They don't even want you out there, Versace Sage watching you out there boosting them on rap records and everything, and they don't even want your money. They don't even want you shopping in their stores or whatnot. They don't want nothing to do with you. Tommy Hilfiger said he wished black kids didn't. But remember that he said he didn't want no black kids wearing his clothes. Remember that?
Yep. Yes, brother. Absolutely. I was a teenager then. I remember that.
Yeah, I said all this stuff like that. So we have all this stuff like this. How much insult like that? You don't have to tell me twice. We don't have to tell me twice.
Exactly.
I heard that, man. I said, I'm never buying a Tommy Hilfiger. He had some fly gear, man. I mean, his pants and stuff like that shit was fly, But it fit nice and everything like that. But I was like, no, I can't do it because of what he said, And so this is what we're talking about tonight, what you just broke down. In America, right here, you're not free. Now, if you like being like, now here's another thing. Somebody said this on Diane's show the other day, right? This one brother broke this down. He said everybody in how the black man deals with his oppression in America is he tries to escape. He'll tell you that slavery didn't happen. These are people sick. He'll tell you that he's a Moor, he's a Hebrew, he's Native American, and he'll sit there argue with that slavery happened. What we're saying is we realize slavery happened, right? We realize these people did all this stuff to us. We realize they're capable of doing the same thing again. We realize that there's no black man in America is free. You can have $10 billion in the bank. If you're a black man on these shores and everything, they will destroy you. They'll hang you up there. Look what they did to Bill Cosby. They will destroy
87-year-old man, 87-year-old elder.
Jail. They put
lock him away like he's some common criminal.
They hunted him down like he's an animal. He was America's dad. Remember that? And they could not resist. So that's waiting for any black man in America. Any black man that's a billionaire right here, you should have a nice penthouse, nice mansion in South Africa somewhere. You should be like this. You should be like Steve Harvey went to Africa. He should have stayed his black ass there. He should have stayed there. Yeah, he had the thing. You're in Africa, right? For the life don't. If you're a millionaire and you got millions of dollars, right? You're making your money in Africa. You can come to America once in a while. What is it about America that brings these Negroes back?
They love America, man. That's it, man.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I said I don't want to hear your deep heart. But if
all
you're
of the
a millionaire,
homies and the brothers are here, man. All of the the fun stuff.
How you chase out? I don't love Negroes in America that much. If I'm a multi-millionaire, right, and I'm making millions of dollars in Africa, right, I can find out the day I find out that I can make money in Africa, I'm gone. I'll see y'all niggas once every 2 years. I'm gone. I'm out of here. I'll come back on the slide. But these Negroes that basically in Africa, right, could be building something, right? You don't have to deal with these people. And then one last thing I'm gonna do is this: once I make this transition to Africa, I'm not gonna deal with American racism again. I'm just gonna be like this. That's what y'all got to go through. The answer is building a global pipeline, and it's all psychological. Let me tell you something. It's all psychological. Why is it that other people can deal with racism better than black people can? Because they have an escape. An Indian, my landlord at my office, Matthew, right? Him and I, he's an Indian guy, right? And him and I talk sometime one night. He knows Indians got an advantage over black people, whatever like that. But most of his contractors, he deals with nothing but black people, right? Most of the tenants in his buildings that rent office space from him right now, all black, everybody in my office complex. And I don't like some of these people, right? But they're all black, it's all black people. He rents really cheap. Even I got a nice office, right? I got one of the nicer offices, right? A lot of people rent really cheap, right? So he cuts up offices and make more space in there. He rents them out for real cheap. One black girl got a photography studio, real good. We got a lot of black people that got he gives people a leg up, you know. And most of his contractors that do his windows, roofing, electrical, HVAC, all black, you know. So he makes money with black people. But I called him the other day because these women, these girls, you was on the phone with me, Bomani, remember that? These girls were playing the music so loud. Remember that? I was on the phone with you the other day. And his maintenance guy, Larry, comes and said, I'll take care of it. You know, he said, I'm in India. I said, yeah, enjoy the motherland. Yeah, he's in India. So he got an escape. He goes to India. But he's going to a place I know nothing about. He's in America and he's dealing with American stuff, and he deals with racism too. He told me I deal with, you know, rednecks and whatnot. You know, he's in Louisville, Kentucky. But he can get on that plane to India, and he's in another place. He has a house over there, land, whatever like that. And he's around his people, his culture and everything. And so when he comes back to America, he could deal with the bullshit he sees in America because he has an escape. Only the African American, we're like prison here. You know, black people in America are the least traveled out of any group of people. It's changing now, but you should own something in Africa. You should own a vacation home in Ghana. You should own a vacation home in Gambia or Liberia or any other countries like that, or South Africa. You know, you should have something on the African continent. And also have something after when you escape, right? Don't get on YouTube and tell everybody your business. Just go as an escape. I went there. I have friends over there and everything. I had a good time, and we had a good time. And you come back to America, you're rejuvenated. Nobody knows what you've been through. Nobody knows what you experienced. You tell people everything, but what happens is this. You got people that live on a continent, right? But instead of them enjoying the continent, right? They're on freaking Facebook. They're on YouTube talking about shit that goes on in America. Dude, you living in Ghana, you living in Nigeria, you live in South Africa. Leave this place alone. Make yourself a new life over there. You know, it's like we're still bound to America for some reason. You know, once you make that transition to continent, you know, just come back over here and do business. You know, who cares who's running the United States? Who cares who's president over here? Who cares who the senator is over here, a congressman, all stuff like that, you know? That's because we're not building anything on the continent. If we were building things on the continent, right, that our money's involved, or that we got a real investment that we're going to try to make run, so we're all going to get paid, we're going to become millionaires, do you think people will be caring about what goes on in America? No. Because a lot of people are going to Africa as individuals, and they're failing and they're struggling, their mind still is back in the United States. And that's what the topic of the show tonight is. You're going over there as an individual, right? Instead of going there as groups and working with our people from here and people on the ground that are Pan-Africans and building these things and humbling yourself, you know, and being part of something. You're going over as an individual and you're feeling lonely and isolated. And what does that do? You're back on TikTok, you know? Damn, if you're living in freaking Kenya, you're living in Tanzania, why are you freaking on TikTok talking about racism and white people in America? You know, what you should be like, damn, I don't have to go through that. I'm over here dealing with this and I'm going through this and everything. Why are you on TikTok? Why are you doing all this stuff like this? Because you're not really assimilating and acclimating to the continent. You know, and that's the way I see it. You know, when I see people living on South Africa for the most part, I do see people getting involved in South, maybe because South Africa is more developed and everything like that. There's a middle class there and stuff like that. You could basically blend in and do a lot of things and everything, so you're not worried about day-to-day survival. You know, it has a high standard of living and stuff. And I noticed that people with money black people with money in Africa tend to be more happier. They tend to be more settled, and they tend to be they're not really into what goes on back in America. But people that go over there struggling always talk about racism. Look, racism is causing you to live in poverty in Africa, causing you to fail. No, you failed to plan. You know, you went over as an individual. You went on some rugged individual stuff. And so therefore you're not making it after, you're not happy. And so therefore, you know, you're on a continent, you basically try to tell everybody, yeah, come to the continent. What do you got set up? Nothing. Just come here. You want misery loves company. You know, I'm miserable over here. Just come over here, everything. You basically made a mistake. You don't know where your next bill's coming from. You don't know anything, but you want people to come over here because you want to validate the mistakes you made. Instead of getting together as a group and saying, look, this is our collective pool. This is our lottery. All the stuff that basically Black people used to do back in the days, put our money together, pool our resources together, work with each other cooperatively, everything. When you have that, yeah, we do need a how-to guide. Well, we do. We got Brother Bomani. Bomani, isn't your website and what you do is a how-to guide about what to do on the continent?
Yeah, the thing of it is, people want everything spoon-fed to them and things like that. And that's the issue that I have. Like right here is a business. There's no entity on this planet that can help Black people connect to Africa towards repatriation. I've literally built this energy for the last 18 straight years and put the work in. But what people do, they instead of reaching out and calling somebody like myself, they will go pay somebody $400 for some fake consultation, someone who doesn't understand Africa, like people like myself who've been studying Africa and been traveling to Africa since I was in my mid-20s, now my mid-40s, and things like that. And so I blame our people for being for making these bad decisions, for being caught up into YouTube. Like they're into all of these people that are so popular on YouTube. I tell people I have three businesses, and one of the third business I'm literally just working it as a nonprofit / a corporate business, doing the things that I do. And you have to sit here and do the work and things like that, and you have to talk to customers and talk to people. So if someone's sitting around making a bunch of videos or they're traveling and they're not really even showing you parts of the country that they're showing, can you really take these people serious? And then you have some people who talk a lot about Pan-Africanism, talk about traveling, and then you have some people who will copy our business. I'm talking about a bunch of people. So as usual, whoever the shoe fits, wear it. It doesn't matter to me. I built this modern day movement to where we have opened up a connection, and who got credit for this whole Ghana energy, or a bunch of celebrities that show up in 2019 when Bomani Tyehimba been doing things organically, connecting Black people all over the planet to Africa and helping them get set up. And,
yeah, well, I talked to Kofi today. He said, he said, Bomani's name carried weight in Ghana because he was over there for 2 years. He said, yeah, Bomani's name carried weight over there. Everybody knows about Bomani. All the Ghanaians.
I've helped a lot of people. Like people literally call me, and I've organically helped them. And I have things set up. Like one of the quick setup I have a family of 5 going to Ghana. We have a house already set up for them, and then we have 2 plots of land that they're gonna take a look at, and people at the office are there waiting for them. And I did all of these things while I'm right here. So what I want to do is talk about a comment, because I need trolls. Now I need trolls and haters. Without trolls and haters, I'll be limited on some points I can make. All right. So this troll said, "Who wants to move to Africa where you have to hunt your own food? You guys are still here because you are not ready." First of all, the first thing I have to tell people that most of us here wouldn't be able to afford some of the lifestyles that I see people in Africa live in. Trust me, family. Go to South Africa, go to Ghana, Tanzania. You see some of these neighborhoods and some of these mansions and some of these places. So I'm telling people, stop the foolishness. Stop thinking that everyone in Africa is poor. Some of the richest people that I've seen in my life, and I've lived in many places, from Jamaica, New York, Virginia, Georgia, and then going to different parts of Africa, I've seen more people. They may not be.
They got money because they don't have the bills and stuff like that we have.
Well, they do many different. People do many different things.
They got a lot of money.
When we talk about riches, we talk about celebrity riches. Some of them may not be rich, like celebrity rich, but I'm talking about people living middle class and higher lifestyle, and where they have, where they have all the things they need. So they don't have to hunt and gather. But even this, I'm just talking about in general, because people. The thing of it is, and you said it earlier. You said that people are listening to ignorant fools out there, and then they come getting a big misconception about what Africa is about. So I'm telling you, family, if you have the big money, and even if you reach out to someone like myself and you say you want a $500,000 house and things like that, we can get you that, and we can get you what you need. But people don't, people want certain things and don't want to pay for it and things like that. If you want to send your children to great private schools, it's there. All the aspects of life is there. But what we're saying to people, and as this person always said, that's why we don't want to move there. And I'm gonna repeat myself, and I'll keep repeating myself to people. if you're a smart and intelligent person, if you are a tactician, you do not get up and make emotional move. Just like make an emotional move, whether to run off to Africa or whether just to say, well, all the Nigerians are running into America, so that must mean that America is the greatest place, and I don't need to leave. People need to have critical thinking on these situations. What we're talking about, we're not talking about this running to Africa and then this scrambling. We're talking about literally building your empire. There's things that let me just repeat this to everyone that's here. Our ancestors died for all of these benefits and opportunities that we have in America. So the thing that I personally recommend to all of us is use them. One time, you and I was talking about the government contracts, and I was telling you that I work for a rich sister here in Georgia, and she told me how I was our business administrator, and I tell people like myself, I've these technical and business positions. I've worked for people corporately, and I've also built my own business, and so I have the experience. I'm not just somebody who talk about these things, and I tell people, whenever you see me. So I ask people all the time, how do all these things get done? You think it's magic? No, I sit here and I work on it. I work on it just like I can outdo a office of 5 people by myself, because while they're talking about the election coming up, I'm getting the work done. But what I'm saying to your family is that I've been around a lot of different Black people since I've been here, and that's what I love about Georgia. I've met so many successful people, and they spend the time to talk with me, and this person spent the time to hire me, and and she basically built our business in government contracts. And so I'm not saying that all of us are going to do success in government contracts, but the government contracts that you're doing, if that was us, we'd be able to make our business here and then use some of that resources to reinvest in what we're doing in Africa. So that's one thing I'm telling people. And then I was also talking to some of my some of my brothers from Baltimore, and so they're telling me about their nonprofit and telling me how they're able to raise money to do some of the projects that they do in Africa as far as schools and education and things like that. So I'm telling people, and then they went to a group, and I'm not even going to call this group because it's so embarrassing. I get tired of this telling people about them. There's some of this group that they have access to grant money and some of the things that we talk about as far as how to develop, and they'll say, we don't want this. It's like, stop with your pride. Our ancestors died and work hard to create opportunities for just like you, I, and a small percentage of us struggling to build a future for our children. The sacrifices are made so our generations have opportunities. So what we tell people, take advantage of these opportunities and put your energy together. And when like you always know somebody that gets some big money. Every time you turn around, somebody always come up on some money. So I'm always telling some of my brothers, like, hey, when you come up on the money, remember we have investment projects. Don't go and blow it, because that's the biggest thing that we do. That's why it's a joke. If it would be nice to see what happens if we really get a reparations check, and like all of the the white corporations around the world, they're gonna be licking their chops. They're gonna be like,
yeah, if you ever did, remember
like the stimulus money went right back to the system.
Remember that Dave Chappelle skit? The malt liquor thing goes up to the roof, KFC and everything.
Repeat that.
But check us out. Check us out. Dave Chappelle when the malt liquor commercial. No, he said when blacks got reparations, and next thing you know, the stocks of malt liquor, KFC, they go to the roof.
That's funny. I know.
But what you said was interesting. You said the one group that we don't want that, pride, and the same people who said we don't need no platinum plan for Donald Trump. These people aren't serious about building anything.
What's wrong with getting a government grant to do something progressive for your own Black children? I mean, are we supposed to sit around and let everyone else come to America and take advantage of all the opportunities that our ancestors fought and died for? And that's what I'm telling people. Let's step our game up. So this guy TH, we know him by Al Coon and things like that. People like him and other people, they should be praising what we're doing, because what we're doing is literally, I'm telling you, family, it's ingenious. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me hit one of them power balls. I wouldn't even tell you if I hit it anyway.
Yeah.
Only thing you'll see is you'll see a bunch of development going up, and the only thing I'm going to tell you is that, man, business is going real good.
Yeah, like I said, the whole thing is, like I said, cooperative economics, and everybody in Black America is a rugged individualist, right? And we're even worse when we're Pan-Africanists. That's the sad part about it. We're worse when we're Pan-Africanists. So as basically black people got a little bit of power, authority. You know what power and authority means, or whatever, is that white people don't have to tell me nothing to do, so you ain't gonna tell me what to do. So nobody wants to come under any sort of group or work together and everything. Everybody's an individual. Everybody's looking out for their own individual stuff, and so then the same people tell you, yo, man, you can't bring those westernized ways. And then those westernized people are the people who end up going to Africa, they're completely westernized and completely individualistic. It's like, damn, okay, John Wayne, you on the frontier prairie, by yourself and everything on your homestead, shooting people. Yeah, get off my land when all right.
Absolutely. Talk about get off your ladder. Here we go. This guy is really really an unbelievable person. And that's fine. And people can say things about it. And that's the first thing people say, go do this and that. I lived in America since I was 11 and literally did a whole bunch of my schooling.
As far as I'm concerned, but mine is African American.
And literally joined the U.S. Navy when I was 18 years old.
And didn't you attend Afran Fest regularly?
Oh yeah, I attend that festival a few times.
Yeah, so basically, you're more African American. Ask any of these people, have they ever attended Afran Fest? No, you ain't African American. And
I've joined many black organizations, including the popular ones. And literally contributed. I've started business, 3 black-owned businesses that's helped black people.
And you employ black people, you do business with the black community.
And I've dedicated my whole life, my whole day, 7 days a week, 24/7 to black people. So what I'm saying to people is it's easy to talk and troll, but can you come on here and say, hey, because anybody can pick up any of these books and read and talk good. As a matter of fact, I met a bunch of people over a period of time that was this knowledgeable on many books and things like that. But once you get to talk about practicality, you lose them. It's kind of like 2 things. I'm a technician, so I can talk about oral and practical. The science of this technology. You have to know the science and the theory. And then there's another thing too. Once you know the science and the theory, can you apply that science and theory to troubleshoot a jet engine, or can you fix the situation? Or you're just going to be someone that's just good at talking and explaining it. And that's the difference. I'm telling people it's a simple thing. In order to be effective, you have to understand the science of what you're dealing with, and then you have to also be able to apply it. So that's what we've been able to do. Like I've studied with our people, but then, okay, we're talking about Africa, so let's build something in Africa. We do tours and investment. And even when you do all these things, people still expect me just to move to Africa. And I'm telling people, you guys have the money, put the money together and invest in what we're doing so we can build the whole town. The whole town. Like I even told somebody, I was talking to another group of people, and I was like, what we've been able to figure out is impressive. And, literally people don't even see and understand it now. If a group of black investors reach out to me and say that, they took their children down to Disney World and they was literally just felt disrespected and embarrassed, and they were going to put their money where their mouth is to solve the problem. And they feel like, I'm going to build my own, I'm going to build Bomani's World in Ghana. And then, and then I'll tell them, perfect. We'll get our attorneys together. We get our surveyors. We get our business people together, attorneys. And then we sit down and make the deal. And then we get our contractors and people like that in place. And then we build what we need to build. And we recruit talent. We have talented black people around the entire world. And then we can build that. So I'm telling people practically.
Have you ever heard of the Sankofa theme park?
Sankofa theme park.
Okay, it was probably this is back years ago.
Brother, I'm not understanding people. I have my number flying down here, my website, and this guy keep asking questions. John Kofi, no disrespect, brother, but it's the same problem we're having with a lot of people, brother.
People don't follow instructions.
We're displaying information. Like right now, I got the community up there. I got my information on their phone number, email address, and we put the brochure and details up there. So I'm asking people in general, and I have to make examples of people and tell people like family, this is why we're not progressing, because we're not showing each other proper respect. Like this, I sit here and you see the 2 websites I built. It's serious work. These are not just like little cheap little $5 website that 90% of people have on the internet. You have to actually know web design to build that kind of website, and then you have all the details on there. And then whether you look at the Facebook page, the Facebook pages, or the Instagram page, or the YouTube page, it's a lot of work and a lot of documentation. So I'm telling people, since we'll put the work in, we're asking people, please look at information, process it. And I'm only going to take you serious if you look at information. Look at information that way when you call me, we can talk respectfully. I have people who have told me that they're interested in the community, and I emailed them the information several times. And then they'll text me a message later on and ask me a bunch of questions and things. I'm like, it's like what you're doing to that person who have stood out and provide Black power leadership. You're killing and wearing that person out. And I'm telling people, I'm not no Marcus Garvey, and our people are not going to do me like Marcus Garvey. So I'm telling people right now, I would love to have more people do business with us and travel with us and get land with us. But if you can't be respectful and you can't look at information and you can't take your time to do things, like a lot of times after this, after like let people know certain things, and you'd be doing it in the most respectful way. But I feel bad because a lot of times it's the same stuff I tell my child. Like I was telling him a bunch of things here today. I was like, why do I have to keep on repeating myself to you about these things? I was like, what don't you get?
Yeah,
that's a child. That's a child, and we were all children. And a lot of times it's not that we didn't get it; we just didn't want to do it. But then you're not a child anymore. And this is me just talking in general. I'm not picking on anybody. But now we're an adult, and so I always have to look at that. And it's like when people have supervisors and managers, people always complain about them. But I'm like, you be in their shoe, to where they have to manage people, and then they have to deal with people not listening, not following directions. Like one of the most important thing I learned in the U.S. Navy is paying attention to detail. Literally, literally the science of something that's simple, and following directions, and the simple basic things that is like elementary that you learn when you're younger. And so you tell people, in order for us to be good at what we do, learn to be good at the basics. It's just like information technology. I learned to just build on the basics. Like I don't have any IT degree and can get one of these positions that some people. But what I've been able to do is lock down the basics to where you can troubleshoot, fix anything, and you can elevate to any other level. And that's what I'm saying for family. We have to get back to that. So when we talk about cooperative economics, we talk about community, we talk about communication, and we're talking about us processing information and working together. Like I was telling you that my history of having meetings with Black people, whether it's my Black organization or another organization I joined, is the fact that we feel like it's okay not to come to meetings. We feel like it's okay not to participate on projects, and we feel like it's okay to let the 3 to 5 people or the 2 to 3 people that's run the organization literally just get burnt out. And the next thing you know, we complain when those people take off and go find a white woman and go marry her and live up in the Alps in Switzerland. Like I tell people, I laugh too because it's funny. But I tell people, we literally push people away. We literally burn them out. And that's why I have a friend that's always reaching out to me, and he was like, how do you do it? How do you move with all these knives in your back? And I was like, brother, it's unfortunate that we even have to talk about the knives in our back. When people should be propping you up and supporting you, and even reaching out and say, I just came up on some money. Let me invest some money in this operation so we can help this brother and his team build something so our children can have opportunity. So our children in Africa, by the time they're 13 to 19, they're learning impressive trades, because people like myself are there. And whatever I learned in those years from 13 to now, all the different technical trades and business trades, I'm there to teach and share with a generation of children, not just myself, other people. And you're creating something more dynamic than anything else, because now what you're doing is you're cutting right to you're cutting. Like I tell people, if when we build our school education system, we cutting out 90% of the stuff that's just foolishness that's taught. Like literally I talk about between 13 to 19, all you're learning is your trade and your skills. And and there's a few other basic things, but your general education, we can knock that out in 6 years, if that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we have to learn about.
Your university is going to be your job or your corporation or your factory or wherever you work on.
Exactly.
And then you get hands-on training. People like, how you come up with that? When I was in the U.S. Navy, and as soon as when I was 18, I was getting paid at 18. I was getting training at 18, and I was getting opportunities at 18, because the U.S. military create that opportunity for their people, their citizens. I'm always telling people that they didn't create these things for people like myself, but it's like, you live in a country and you have the credentials and you apply yourself. You can join that energy and things like that. So what we want to do is we want to create those opportunities for our own children. And in order to do that, we need vast amount of land, and we need to be in a country, a sovereign country, where 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 people can't just say, we can't do this and you can't do this and you can't do this. Everything that we have lined up to do, I've talked to the people in the community, and they said they agree, and they're thankful, and they're open, and they're down with what we're doing, because everything turns out to be two things. You're creating opportunities that their children are going to have. You're developing the town and the community, and then also you're humbling yourself, and you're letting people know that you want to be a part of this beautiful town and everything. So I think people are still always confused about what we talk about Afrikstan. They think that we're gonna jump into the town and take over the town and treat people bad and things like that. This is an opportunity where we can have a lot of Black people from the diaspora come, and then this is going to be one of the most effective towns, to where you have real industries. You have a marina. You have beach resorts. You have high level of this technical and business training. You have incredible flow of this organic food, and then you have based on all of us where we come from, we have different restaurants and things with different flavors and things like that, because to add into what Ghana has. So everything is just a plus. And I tell people, I sit down, I've talked with the chief in the town, I have our people there, and we're talking, and no one disagree or have any issues with this. The only people who have issues with these are the trolls online. And
let me give you an example. Just like when I proposed the city state in Angola, right? They said, wow, they were like blown away. You mean tell me there's Black? First of all, it's not like where you're saying you're coming from, no disrespect to anybody else, right? It's not like you're coming from, like, let's say Nigeria or Brazil. But when you're saying you're African American, right? Black America, right? Number one country in the world. And you're saying that you would choose that gives them sort of a prestige, You guys want to build something. I say, yeah, because we tried, and I tell the story of the African American, right? I said, we're not, they said, I thought you guys were, and so look, they integration, what they framed it. But Black America has always been trying to build our own cities, towns, and infrastructure in America, right? America simply won't let that happen. The last real time was Soul City in the early 70s. Jesse Helms got there. Can't tell you why. It's just a Black people building something. And he's in the other part of North Carolina. He's way over in Raleigh, and he's from the boondocks, right? And the area we're talking about was on Eastern, where mostly Black people live. And because we live in this so-called same state, he had the power to block it. What if Floyd McKenzie said in the 70s, said, we're going to build Soul City in Liberia? What are we going to build that Soul City in the Congo? While we was over there doing the rumble in the jungle, we should have got some land in the damn Congo. When there was a lot of Black people in America that was in the Congo during that fight, Ali Foreman fight. Remember that? There was all kinds of Black people in America in there. They were like, the CIA is like, keep a tab.
I'm with you on that. Your brother, I'm not gonna lie, man. We dropped the ball on that.
Yeah, man. So we're not
rumbling the jungle, but we've had access to doing things in Africa for a long time. It wasn't up until just really recently, in the last 10, 20 years, where we talk about straight up this nation building. So we basically a few decades behind everybody else.
Yeah, imagine we had all that land in the Congo, all that wealth, whatnot. What if we said, look, man, what Muhammad Ali was said, and George Foreman said, after this fight, let's build our Madison Square Garden over here. Let's build a new city, George, instead of coming back to damn America. I don't get it, man.
The only thing I can think about is some of our people, we love our masters, and and it's like you can't get away too far from your master, because
yeah,
it's kind of like that wicked crazy slave master relationship where you just live.
I don't have that, right? I don't have
it either.
I don't have that. I want an Afrikstan. I can't wait to the day I dream about it. That, man, I look outside and whatnot. I'll have a national. I always dream about what our government buildings will look like, what our flag look like, what our National Guard look like. The parades and everything, and we're just a proud nation and everything. When people come to our country, they're coming on our territory, our land, our laws, everything. 500 years of somebody telling you what to do. Don't y'all get tired of this? Don't y'all get tired of, oh yeah,
what, brother? Honestly, it was the reason why Kanye said what he said. And I'm here once again. you know, I'm not trying to defend.
Okay, he said what he said.
I'm not trying to defend this statement, but that's why, you know, and the only thing I could do, because I can't read that man's mind. Only thing I could say is based on what I hear him say. I'm like, okay, that's why he said about the choice situation about slavery, and I think he probably just was, you know, sometimes people say things.
Well,
and
I think I get what he said,
and then whenever, you know, and because that, you know, that's somebody's popular that's saying that now, so now you're gonna twist the words and things like that. But I really just feel like he meant like, how can this go on that long? But it's like, you know, people didn't take time to process those things. But this is why people feel that, you know, feel these way about us, because they want to know, is like, okay, why are we still in the same situation and conditions and things like that? I mean, we can definitely give people a lot of answers and things like that, because it's never that simple. You know what I mean? Because colonialism, slavery, and the brain drain, which is the worst one right there. You know, where you have basically village idiots running countries in different parts of the Black world. You know,
the best mind. Check us out.
The best of our Black minds are in America and Europe.
The best minds are in America, making the white man rich.
Absolutely. So we can just look at America and Europe. Like when you asked me, like one day you and I was talking, and you was like, why is all these Black people doing in Ukraine? I was like, brother, you know how it is, man. You know how it is, man. Whatever embassies in the country, whether you're in Jamaica or whether you're in Ghana, you know, our people are at those embassies in big lines, and whoever can leave. And so that contributes to the brain drain, to where now you just have, you know, countries operating with, you know, where in some countries a village idiot could be a president.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we have had a few of them in Jamaica, and we have seen many of them in the different countries in Africa.
Yeah, now
just the Black world itself, and also, you know, even in situations we see it in politics, like how do some of these Black folks, you know, get in these positions? So I'm not here to pick on one or two people, regions, because that's what people like to say. Oh, you talk about my country, you talk about where I'm from.
Yeah, but I'm watching Dr. K and African Millennium. These guys, everybody's going there. Everybody's freaking ripping each other's shithole to pieces. You know,
what is their point? Everybody want to prove that they're right without.
You know, everybody's like, yo, basically, the Somalis think the Kenyans are dusty. The Somalis say the Kenyans are mad at them because their women won't date Kenyans. And the Kenyan guy, no, it ain't true. It said you guys are always lusting after Somali women. And then somebody's saying that the Somali Bantus are dusty. And somebody's saying that West Africa.
Well, these are children. These are ignorant children playing around. I mean, and that's why I tell people, when it comes to what we're doing, this is not amateur business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
real. This is for grown men. You know what I'm saying? Grown folks' business and things like that. This is hardcore sacrifice. You have to be an intelligent, smart, sharp, well-educated person. And I already explained to people the verse of what we had to learn in order to be on the stage, to compete into this, you know, things like that. And I'm telling people, we're not here as these folks on YouTube. Every minute you turn around, every single current event, you know, every once in a while you and I talk about Kanye or Kyrie Irving, or, you know, people, or we talk about like Nick Cannon, you know, people who we feel like they put themselves out there, and then we can kind of give an African analysis of what happened and things like that, because we're telling people that the system is that bad and controlling, to where you're not going to be able to build what you need to build. You know what I mean? You're either just going to have to just, you know, flow with the system, or you can just join us and build what we need to build in Africa, because our children are not going to be able to compete like this. I mean, not saying that all of our children have to leave America, because they don't. They, you know, but it's like, if we build the power base in Africa, and we build what we're talking about building with our people's support, you know what I mean? Then, you know, we're good.
You have something else. And
yeah, because you have leverage. You have leverage now. Now I'm in America. I got my people in Africa, and I got leverage.
But right now, the white man did the right thing, man. He made sure that he burned all the ties that we had to Africa. And he did that with rid of Liberia, got rid of Kwame Nkrumah, and all the Pan-Africans they got rid of, and everything. We couldn't even see it. You know, a lot of times Black people that go to Africa aren't educated, right? And be perfectly honest with you, right? I think that Rumble and Jumble and Zaire was a mistake, you know.
All right.
Okay, you know, first of all, it was really supposed to be in Liberia.
For real, that's what's up, man.
Check us out. But Liberia didn't build a stadium in time, right? The Samuel K. Doe Stadium was Samuel Doe put his name on it, right? He didn't build shit, right? But it wasn't done in time, right? It was done late, right? And then when he came to power, he put it in SK Stadium. This Bushman didn't build anything, you know. Tolbert built that thing, right? In the 70s, but it wasn't ready in time for the Ali Frazier. Ali went to Liberia, you know, and it wasn't ready for the fight. So Mobutu said, I'll put up $10 million, you know.
Mobutu.
Mobutu said, I'll put up $10 million.
Go figure, right?
And check this out. And he was a butcher. He was a
yeah. Go figure who did. Yeah,
he was the biggest race trader of our century. He killed Patrice Lumumba. Yeah. And the bottom line is this: he basically put up the money, and it was like see, black people in America. This is what I'm talking about, folks. I'm gonna tell you something right now, right? I'm not impressed by people just going to Africa, getting involved in the country, you know, because there's a lot of people in the black community that's in the CIA and part of stuff like this, and they got people fooled because they go to Africa like this. Look, I'm not going to be co-signed to no dictator I know that's a puppet of the West, right? I don't give a dang how African he is, whatever, what you felt when you was over there. We're talking about different times. This is different times right now. You know, in the 70s, Ali and all of them, they didn't know any better. You know, they didn't know. You know, they did not know any better. They didn't know. So they was like, okay, he's a black man. But at the time, right before that happened, Mobutu had people executed. And we turned a blind eye to that. That's why Fela Kuti, right? Same thing was going on in Nigeria. Fela Kuti boycotted the Festac festival in Nigeria. Stevie Wonder was there and everything. It was a festival of African arts and celebration, right? And the largest contingent outside Nigeria was African Americans. And a lot of those people were there that were living on the continent were there that came from the Congo, still living in the Congo. They went to Nigeria. That was one of the biggest events in our history, you know? It was big, you know? It was called Festac, you know, Festival of Africa. It was in Lagos, Nigeria, in the arena that now abandoned Lagos, a dome arena, you know, built by the Greeks, you know, that dome arena that was famous in Lagos, you know. Well, anyway, Fela Kuti said, I won't go there because he said there's a lot of people that they talk about apartheid in South Africa, but the dictators and the corrupt people here are killing us, brutalizing us, exploiting us and everything. And black people in America, all they know is I'm in Africa and everything. And that was starting to annoy a lot of Africans because they said as soon as black people in America go to countries and they're taking pictures with these dictators, that basically thing. And then a lot of Africans, they say like this: black people in America don't know the nuances and everything, and that's why a lot of people hate Pan-Africanism because we don't go over there with the mindset of okay, let's do this. We just go in there and just like this. There's a lot of black people who didn't like. A lot of people in Ghana didn't like the fact that Jerry Rawlings, they called Jerry Rawlings was a clown. I like Jerry Rawlings, but there was a lot of people who said, why is black people in America hosting Nana Rawlings in Harlem? You know, they're like, you're giving her a platform, you know, she's corrupt, you know, and stuff like that, you know. So we don't know the nuances of Africa. That's why I say the Afrikstan is the best way. And so basically if we're building on the continent, right, we have something tangible to gain or lose. So therefore, our relationship with the host country is going to be different than just basically like this, because we're going to gauge the host country based on the vantage point of what we're trying to build. You know, before we just go to Africa, I'm just Africa, I'm Africa. But they, you don't know the situation. So that same thing, what I'm talking about, what happened in Burkina Faso. You know, JT the figure got out of there. You know, black people just went. Now there's black people there stuck. They told JT, get us out, get us to Kenya. He said, look, I told y'all to get out of there. You know, I told you something was about to go down. You know, and he got out of there, sold his land, got out of there, and black people stayed back. Now, when you have a coup in a country, uncertainty. You know, you can get killed, robbed, whatever like that, and the military government can't really do nothing about it. All they're gonna say is, "Oh man, we thought this was a spy. Somebody running your house in the middle of the night. Oh yeah, well, I want to see a paperwork. I want to see a passport and everything. Who wants to go through all that?" So we don't know. We haven't had people to interview. We got all these folks on YouTubers, right? No one's ever said, "How's our people in Burkina Faso doing?" You know, they're living in fear. They want to get out. They countries like that, right? Once they seize off the airport, you're in there. You can't get out. You know, nobody can leave, nobody can go. When they have a coup, the airport, the first thing shuts down is the airport. You can't come in and come out.
Remember what happened in Afghanistan?
Yeah, you know, remember, people on the planes.
The military left before them.
Before a bunch of people. The Americans left there. And you had Afghanis hanging on the plane, falling from the sky. That was sad, man. But but that's what it is. People have no idea what they're doing. So therefore, instead of learning, okay, and sharing information, what if people were organized? Why people in Burkina Faso? Because they went over there as individuals. They're not talking. They would just say, JT got the hell out of here. They don't have no regular meetings. They're not organized.
Yeah, JT's in Nairobi chilling.
He's over here chilling, man. He said, man, I told y'all to get out of there. He just gave a warning. Yeah, man, I got out of there, man. I knew it was going down.
He's very frustrated with the French.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the things that people are not looking at. The fact that when you're trying to make a move in some countries, I'm not saying that you go to countries like Ghana, South Africa, and Tanzania that they're just perfect countries, but it's a big difference. It's a big difference, and the only thing I can tell people, just look at where the coup d'etats are going on at, and look at where people
don't go to
are being successful. You talk about Guinea, Mali. You talk about the French military. So
they're all over the continent. They're all over French Africa. They're all over French Africa. Then my friend Sam told me that I know we got to get Great African on to confirm this. He said, look. He said the French are behind these jihadists and stuff, causing trouble. And he said they're trying to make a move in Liberia now too, And Liberia,
we have to look at the foolishness of France itself. France been robbing its colonies forever, and it's like France should be like the biggest world power in the world. The British and the French, but they're not. They're both of their countries are falling apart, and they're losing their grip on the world. And I guess because of that situation, the French is just looking to do whatever they need to do.
And another thing people have to understand is this, right? Black America, our cultural influence is more powerful than the British and French combined. Our music and everything. See, we're a powerful nation, but we're enslaved in captivity. That's what they fear is this. Our music, everything, our influence. Black America we produce all the authors, all the scholars, everything, right? We can match the British and French by scholar, invention by invention. We can match them, And so therefore, that what they want to do is erase us from history. That's why I said, when you go to Africa, don't give up who you are. You either the Africans are going to follow us, or they're going to follow the French or the British. That's who we're up against. That's who we're really fighting against. Because the Angolans tell me they would love to replace the Portuguese with Black American culture, African American culture, and everything, music, language, everything. They would love to be African Americanized, and keep themselves. People don't realize that. We have a lot of power and influence on the continent, and so like Rwanda. Why do you think Rwanda got rid of French, right? Because they wanted more closer to us, the English-speaking world. All these countries want to get rid of France. Language is powerful. When you're in a country and you're speaking French, the French feel like that's them. You're a Black Frenchman. You're a Frenchman painted black. That's all they see you as.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like, and you're definitely their stepchildren. That's exactly how you are in situations.
And so you have a relation with it, whether you like it or not, just by speaking French. And so therefore, part of the Afrikstan movement, I hate to say this, right? It's come from, where's the Pan-African world really come from? The Black English-speaking world. The Garvey, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
Yeah, think about America. Think about the energy of just the movement itself. Most of it is in America. You don't hear much about Black, French, English, Spanish, or whatever, situations in Europe. So I'm always telling people like, yo, this is this is where the battlefield is. Now join our brothers and sisters in America, and let's make some moves together stronger. This is still the strongest energy where we have enough in place to make certain moves. And based on that, I've seen the results in Africa. I've seen it. I'm telling people, when you see establishment, it's mainly from, Black folks from America, whether they're born other places and things like that. This is a foundation. And so when people are telling us about we need to do this and that, I'm saying, hey, family, a wise military leader or wise leader, use their best strategies. And our best strategies is to do what we're talking about. We're building Afrikstan and building communities and building what we need to build by being here in America and being able to have access to move around and do certain things and being able to hold your conference and do all your things that you need here and things like that. And so I'm telling people that we don't owe you any answers to tell you what we do in our business anyway. And just because we talk about Africa and things like that don't mean that we need to just give up what we're doing and just make a move. And I'm getting to a point so I can connect with you, because there's been a lot of confusion, brother Kala, with people thinking that you and I are telling people to do these things. Only thing I've ever told people to do, I've helped people move there as individuals because that's what they want. But we will always push Black cooperative economics. I feel like that's been the downfall of us in America. That I'm not saying that we have not tried it, but in a modern day sense, we have not stepped our game up to where you see cooperative economics to the highest level, to where you see more. I'm not saying that you have a lot of us that are entrepreneurs, but being an entrepreneur is one thing, and building corporate operation, building is a whole different energy. Building like talk about industrial parks, building your manufacturing base, your import export. And I think
what we need, I tell people all the time, brother, is this. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying this. We need the Alpha Corporation, right? The Alpha Corporation. For example, right? Like I said, I don't really care who Byron now is married to, right? I don't give a goddamn he's married to a Martian. This guy is basically gonna put 8 Black HBCUs in prime time, Right. I'm like this, I don't care, if he can give me, give me something back. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
All right, married to a white woman, but you give me okay, I can do. I'll give you a pass.
I can give anybody a pass on any of those things as long as they use the resource effectively to build.
Exactly. That's what separates us from a lot of these so-called fake Pan-Africanists. Like, oh man, for a fact of the matter is you don't care about him being a white woman because you would be with that same white woman too. But you just want to hate on him right now because out of jealousy. I know Negroes. I got a PhD in Negroology. Negro, you wish you was with that blonde chick. You damn sure, so you a Pan-African. The bottom line is this: if that brother is gonna put millions of dollars in what we're doing, maybe he might one day open the Afrikstan Global Media Network. I'll be like, oh, okay, and let the Pan-African run it, the way we want to run it. Maybe he might put the $1 billion up for that shit one day. Who knows? I ain't gonna turn down nobody that's gonna look into our program.
Absolutely.
I'm basically like this. The Pan-African movement of the future, right? We need these people, Black people, with money and resources, right? And the bottom line is this: okay, we have our differences about marriage, whatever like that, all lifestyle, whatever like that. But if somebody got money that want to say, look, I want to invest in that, whatever like that, hey, bring it on. Because why? Because if he's not, he's going to invest it with the white man. The white man in America, he don't give a damn what. Everything, even right now, we're on YouTube right now. Maybe not this show because it's not monetized. He don't give a damn. You got motherfuckers on YouTube, Cracker Devil, Jew Devil, and the white man just looking at his algorithms. Man, I'm making money. Go ahead, keep saying it. Cracker Devil, and he's making all the money out of you talking. On Facebook, I got black militants, man, black white man. I said every time you type, every time you put your black hands down to type, that white man's making money on Facebook. So you like I said, when are we gonna be in a position where, like, we're the house, like in a casino, right? Remember in the casino, it's like, yeah, just keep them playing. Right? The more they play, the more we win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you have a nation of your own, right? You making all the money in taxes, everything like that, So
absolutely.
When we have our own land, our own soil, and the business and the industrial is playing out on our soil, the commerce and the data, like I said, I asked you the other day, all the data, that transactions, everything. Why is all the African data and everything handling Europe and everything? To this day, exactly. Didn't they build a pipe? Didn't they build the fiber optic around the continent? Africa should have its own data centers in big cities and everything. Young Africans should be going there instead of going to Europe. Should be going to their downtown areas and high sky-rise business, doing multi-million-dollar deals and stuff like that. The business should stay on the continent. That's what we want. That's what the Afrikstan is all about. Let's build African infrastructure. Do you understand what Black African infrastructure is? It means everything. Telecommunications.
Well, let's give them a good example. The city of Virginia Beach. I mean, wouldn't you want to have a city like that for Black people?
No, bro. I dream about it. Matter of fact, I dream about it all the time. In Virginia Beach, you got so many beautiful young Black children, teenage children, and they're out with their moms and everything. They're going to play softball, and they got black families out and everything like that, and they're out eating and whatnot, kids. I'm saying to myself, this is my black nation right here. I wish I could just take them to the Afrikstan tomorrow, you know. But I pretend like I'm in the Afrikstan, but I'm around with Virginia Beach. We got such a black middle class here, you know. I just wish I had these people in my own nation, you know.
I started. I think the first time I was in Virginia Beach was 1996. I was 18, fresh out of boot camp.
Right.
And I'm telling you, it's. I was driving down to the military base. It was so dark and everything. I mean, that whole road that took you to the military base, all of that is completely developed. And I mean, this is 1996, family, and we're
Oceana.
And that's what I see, brother. I see all of that land that they had there, and I see the land that we have. You know, they have a beach. We have a beach. It's just what we have is not developed.
Right.
And what they have in Virginia Beach is established on the highest level. I mean, you're talking about a city that gets money, a city that have infrastructure, a city that has everything set up to be operative. They even embrace the military because they know they're getting paid. You know what I mean? And bring that lifestyle in there. I mean, the whole Virginia, you know, like people sleep on that state itself. You know what I mean? And I'm telling people, I've lived through this life from just living in Jamaica, living in Brooklyn, New York, then living in Virginia, living here in Georgia, and traveling the entire world, 6 continents, and going so many different parts of Africa. So I tell people when they make these comments and they come up on these and their little low IQ analysis, I was saying that you're not going to really understand where people like myself come from. I've experienced life at a young age, and I've got myself involved in Black organization. I have to take my time to take advantage of all these incredible opportunities in America, dealing with technical education. You know, so my mindset is going to look at many things. I'm going to look at Black Wall Street. I'm going to look at many other aspects of these things that, you know, we see, and I'm going to learn from it. And this is the game plan we came up with, a collective group of us. So I'm telling people, what is the game plan y'all come up with? And let me know where you come up with your conclusion. Because this is where I would love for this to be Virginia Beach. You know, just giving people an idea. And it will be like that once we keep on investing and building infrastructure. It would change over a period of time. And family, that's what we have to look forward to. But as you tell people, what do you have to look forward to? You know, you're just a pawn in a city, a town, a state, and that's the only thing that you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be, you know, you're just a consumer, you're just a customer, you know, you're not. And is that what we want for our children and things like that? Are we just really sitting around in our basement waiting for a reparations check? You know, I'll tell people, join the party. Either you put up or shut up. Join the party and let's build this together so our children will have something special and they can compete with the rest of the world. Because in order for you to compete, you have to have yourself established. How are you going to compete with the Chinese, the Indians, the Koreans, the Japanese? You know, they're going to smoke your children, like literally. You know what I mean? They're already taking all these top positions at different universities that we used to be dominant at. So, family, I'm telling people, you know, that's why I don't mess around with YouTube, because there's too many clowns on YouTube, whether they're the popular people doing YouTube videos or they're the trolls. But yes, Kala, man, that's what we look.
Yeah. So, and that's what it is. The bottom line is this: building these communities, right, overseas and everything. And when we start winning, we start bringing contractors over, and they start winning government. We start competing with Lebanese and somebody's building stuff. Whatever it is, let me tell you something about a budget. People don't really understand about procurements and stuff. A government has to procure a certain amount of things from overseas, right? They don't make it stuff like that. Somebody is going to bring spare parts into Ghana and different things that the government use, right? Not even the private sector, right? The government has to purchase a certain amount of goods and stuff from overseas, okay, that they don't make, right? Someone's going to do it, you know? Right now, it's the Lebanese, the Chinese, and everything because they have the logistics, right? They're set up. Why can't we be in that position? It's not just us to sit in Ghana under the tree and sip Mai Tais out of a coconut, you know? I see people sitting on a coconut. That's just cool. I love to chill too, you know? But the bottom line is this: these people, other people are getting the bag. We should be business people. Why? Because what's going to happen is it's going to transform Black America. I really do believe with these younger people going over the continent, that could happen. But the problem is they're not getting the proper leadership and guidance to do that, you know. And people say something stupid like, Oh, you're coming over here, cat. Yeah, if you're in your best money making years, right? Why shouldn't you try to get wealthy or do something and everything? Wouldn't you be beneficial to the continent if you get rich? I don't know no poor person that gives anybody a job. You know, I don't know any broke person that Like, can you imagine people sitting in a commune, sitting up there with their plotters association, and they can't employ nobody, they can't give nobody no job because they basically opted out of life? No, we want to basically when we build the Afrikstans, right? We're saying we're coming here to compete. We're coming here to be part of it. It's not just to talk about integrating in society. We also want to be businesses, everything a part of society. It has to be all. It can't be like, okay, we're become part of society, but oh yeah, but you can't have no contract. You can't do this. You can't get that contract to build a road. Why not? Oh well, I don't know. I don't know. There's a law written somewhere. Where is the law? Change the law. This is what we're gonna fight for in every country we go to. That to be part of this society that we're gonna be doing business, right? Because it's our ancestors, it's our birthright to do so. Don't tell me when you got white people owning most of the land inside. That's what it was all about. And when it really comes down to it, right? Whether it's in Ghana, Liberia, and everything, the elephant in the room is a large number of whites and Indians on the continent that are gaining in power, and they using other black people. Who's this shadow priest? Get her out of here. Africa's not already built. What are you talking about?
One to share that right there. That's what I'm saying. We have too many people that have low IQ. And when we tell people, like, try to study and try to listen and learn, because what people are posting a lot of times is nonsense. Africa is already built up, though. There is towns and cities in every African country. Yes, we know that. This is our town right here. This is our town right here. And we picked a town that was had a whole bunch of land, and it's not heavily populated. It's kind of like, why would I go to Lagos to go do what we're doing? It makes no sense. So there are places in different parts of Africa, and I mean, Kala Genesis, you have explained that many times ago about Angola, that there's cities in Angola that are very densely populated, to where they need population of people to come there. And
by Angola, they tell you they need, if you're going to build someplace, right? First of all, it's not just towns. A lot of towns in Africa don't have infrastructure.
Yeah. So this person right here, again, Shadow Priest, and like I said, family. I don't care about no trolls or no haters, but in order for us to have an effective presentation, we need intelligent people, which is what we're always looking for. But when we have low IQ people who make comments and things like that, because they're not listening, like a lot of times people are just putting words in our mouth and things like that. Our presentation is not about Africa having cities. Our presentation is about us building operations in Africa so our people could invest their money safely, so our people can move safely, and our people can organize themselves and connect with our local people and be more effective. Connect with more of our people that's about business and life in the country, and be effective to where we're competing with the likes of the Lebanese, the Chinese, the Indians, the people that are dominating.
This is the problem right here, right? With that comment, right? These people basically are this person. The reason why they don't like us is because what we're talking about is a power move. And when you get ready to make a power move, you watch a movie, TV show like Dallas, right? You're gonna get hated, right? I was watching Africa Millennials channel 2 nights ago, right? And I love Africa Millennial, but sometimes basically with people online and everything like that, Africa wears on people. The whole thing was they was coming at Rwanda and Paul Kagame. Rwanda's making moves and everything, and Black America's going there because it's clean and nice and everything. And so, oh man, Paul Kagame is the reason why these Congolese idiots in the Congo are raping, killing, child killing, everything. That's all Paul Kagame. They'll blame all their problems. Africans never take any responsibility for themselves. And so when Paul Kagame says, "Look, this is my country, Rwanda. I'm going to build it. Rwanda's all we have." And so basically said, look, to the Hutus, we're going to become a nation. You're not even allowed to say Hutu or Tutsi. The only time you hear Hutu or Tutsi is these stupid trolls online. The Rwandans are basically becoming Rwandans, And so therefore what you have is people talk about building a town, everything like that. We're saying we're trying to basically be on the map in Africa. The Afrikstan means we're going to be on the map. When you basically say, tell me anywhere where you could point on a map and point to Black America on the map. You can't. We don't exist. Point to an ADOS FBA on the map. It doesn't exist. The Afrikstan saying the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade will be on the map after 500 years. So whether you like it or not, if you don't agree with that, that's fine, but it's going to happen. And we build cities and everything in towns and we build our own territories, it's going to be on the map. And people say, well, this territory right here is part of the global Afrikstan. You know, its name is whatever the name is and everything. It's on the map. So it has its own seal. It has its own everything. So when you go there and you want to do business there, you have to check in. You have a permit. So therefore, that pays respect for the people that's citizens or residents of that place. Right now, anybody could come to America, right? Shit on Black America, and there's no thing because you have no space. America lets people come in. Right now, the agents off the boat are trying to end affirmative action. Don't even belong here. Their ancestors didn't die in the wars and everything. So now they're like, oh, affirmative action is hurting us. No one asked you to come to this country. You have countries in Asia. Black America have nothing. So what I'm saying is this: the Afrikstan means where we stand. You know, where the diaspora stands. So as more and more people from overseas come over here, and more Black people, more and more Black people gonna say, you know something. As these communities start being prosperous on the African continent, and they will, you know, masses of Black people are gonna say, you know something, Bomani, Kala, BAO, you guys are right all along, you know, and you're gonna see this movement grow like it's never been seen before. We're just pioneering it. Because when Gazi is popular, we're going to build them in Liberia. We're going to build them in Angola. We're going to build them in the Congo, Zambia. We're going to build all these territories and everything like that, right? It's just where we stand, a territory where we stand.
And
Now,
brother, what we take the challenge that we're taking up is we're looking to build cities and towns and places where it's not really something established. So I'm telling people, if people don't believe what I'm saying, go to this town that we live in and ask people where the supermarket is, ask people where the gas station is, ask people where anything is. And it was like, well, it's nothing in this town, it's over the next town. And I'll tell people exactly. So then people are like, why would you want to be there? I was like, because we get to build all of those things and we get to circulate our money and then we get to work with our own people and then we get to make power moves. That's simple. And so what is so wrong about that?
They must have missed the show last week about Black towns.
People just want to hear what they want to hear. Even when I'm telling people that when we build our technical and business operation there, then now whoever we're doing business with here in America, whether it's people that we're doing technical support for or people that we're doing business operation, you have another base. I mean, and I understand that most of us have never been taught business, and the ones of us who go to business school don't really end up even getting into business and things. But I'm explaining to educate people that me and Kala, we're business entrepreneurs, and we're also people who have these connections. So we're explaining to you how these things can work. We're not making nothing up, and I'm giving people the best ideas. And if you want what you want in Africa, I'll tell you just to go spend that money and go to one of these nice communities that's already built up. Everything is there that you need. This is not that situation. This is for grassroots investors who see the fact that when we build what we need to build, we can build our own financial institution to where now all the money that's being generated in the town or in the city, we're using it to circulate around, or we using it to some of it to reinvest into business people who need access to small loans and things like that. You can just create a whole different world. And I tell people it's that simple, but you actually get up and start and build what you're building. And then even to get this far, it took us a long time to get this far. So I'm telling people, be clear about what
you're doing. Once we have our community bank, where everybody puts their money in and whatnot, and everything, and we have our community investment bank and everything like that, all stuff like that. And a mortgage bank, we can give people loans for housing and everything. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and stuff like that, so it can grow exponentially, you know what I'm saying? So all this stuff like that means But we can't do that if you're here and we're here and somebody else is 100 miles away, somebody else is over here. But if we're concentrated in one area, we could build it. Just common sense. Look at this way America was founded, right? When they black people went to Kansas, right? They founded a town called Nicodemus, Kansas. I don't know if you want to put that up there, but Nicodemus, right? Let me find it. A brother, a preacher, said, "Look, man, a lot of people couldn't make it to Liberia, so they said, let's go out west, and there was a Kansas exodus, and something like that. Let's see, Kansas exodus, Black history. Okay. Exodus, the Black migration. Okay, a lot of them, the Exodus movement, a lot of things like that. It says how Kansas town became one nation's first majority Black farming. Hey, you want to play this video, Bomani?
Shoot me the link on WhatsApp.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot you the link. What we're talking about, this is what we're talking about. We're not doing anything our ancestors didn't do. We're getting back to the 19th century, to tell you. We're going back in time, we just like we built towns in here, we built towns in all throughout. Like you go to Liberia, you're gonna see small Black towns look like the towns there. We drive through Ashland and Carriesburg in Liberia, you're gonna say, wow, this is like the Deep South. Our ancestors came to Liberia and built towns on the St. Paul River. And I was in there, I was like, wow, man, I read about these towns, and it looks like a little bit of Black America, the culture of the people had truly changed. You like Black America, everybody's out there doing festivals, picnics, and family reunions and whatnot. It's like, man, am I in freaking North Carolina or am I in Africa? But yeah, Black townships and everything. The white man's always tried to destroy Black towns in America, Black townships, because they knew once Black towns were the first places where we built the first Black banks, Black insurance companies, Black trading companies. You understand how we got Tulsa, was a Black town. Greenwood, Archer, and Pritchard was a Black town. Raleigh, North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, and Stone Mountain, Georgia, Forsyth County, Georgia. We basically have always built prosperous towns in America, right, before they were destroyed. What we're saying now is that we're building these towns. We're taking that Black town energy to our African ancestry. We're going to build hundreds of small towns and eventually city-states and everything on the African continent. That's what the Afrikstan is all about. This is where we can stand, So you're muted, Bomani. You're muted.
Yes. So what is the big deal and the big problem with these things that we're talking about?
Because they know it's going to work, and the fact that
I think people are not willing to do the work because it's when even just to ask people to join a meeting or ask people to do certain basic stuff, they find it difficult. And I'm like, you don't look like a person who want to be free. And then some of them may turn around and even say that I am free. I live in America. I'm free. I'm free to do this. You're free to do what what your oppressors limit you to doing, and that's it. And we're seeing this, like we mentioned earlier, with Kyrie Irving and Kanye West.
At this point, I don't even care anymore because I resigned the fact that I really do believe that's the way it is in America. So why am I getting upset and shocked? Why would I do a video go live about it? Let's go live, Kyrie Irving, like that. What the fuck? Another clown ass nigga gets screwed up by the man. Who cares? It ain't gonna be the last. Ain't the first. It ain't gonna be the last.
Yeah, these are just examples, family. So if you're not thinking about complete liberation, I mean, what are you really thinking about?
Yeah, we could build our own towns, our own cities. The party Afrikstan is building towns, cities on the African continent to the highest level, our own industrial zones, everything, and then we'll be free. We'll be free. Simple as that. Not rocket science.
And to be free, family, you just
be your own land.
You have to, Malcolm X explained that. Land is the base of independence. So we have land, and when we build, we need to build. You have your freedom. You have, and then you're working with your local governments to build the things that you need to build as a people, to where you as a town, where and just like these small towns in the South, that I'll tell you that they built their setup to where I'm sure at one point you had a few families and they were in charge of everything in those towns. Yeah. Why? Because they did what? They built the town.
Yeah.
And then now you come from somewhere else to their town. What you got to do? You got to follow whatever they set up in
The
that
rules.
town. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I have people come down here in the South, and I'm like, yo, I'm like, I mean, I was like, what do you expect? I mean, it's like, well, this is not like New York. This is not like this. This is not like that. I'm like,
No.
and then the same thing they talk about in Africa. I'm like, nothing is gonna be ever like where you come from. That's not the point. The point of you is for you to grow and elevate. And if you don't like, because like I mentioned to people, live in New York, live in Virginia, live in Georgia, and it's the same oppression, and it's the same situation with of trying to apply for a job and try to do certain things. You know, the same situation you deal with. So people like myself will come to one conclusion. Instead of complaining, I just need to use the earnings I have and use the earnings of other investors, and we put it together and build what we build. And that's how we got that land. That's why we have all that paperwork with all our name on it. You know, gotta tell people no one's just gonna put all that stuff together for you. You know, this is you know, it's business operation. You know, you have to get out there and pay people and get things done. So that's what we have done on a small scale. And then when we talk about family, is upping our game to another level. But in order to up our game, it's like we're telling people that we're doing all kind of business things. It's like whenever somebody reach out and say, hey, Bomani, I got this grant writer, or I got a nonprofit organization that want to work with you, or hey, I got several people that want to come to Africa, or I got some people that want some land. You know, and instead of some people doing things like that, the comments that I played for your family, that's the mindset, and that mindset represent a lot of people. Those are just the people who have little balls to say something. You know, the rest of them don't have any balls, so they're not gonna say anything, things like that. But they, you know, just keep on trolling. But this is what we have right here, fertile ground. So we can play this, and then, you know, we get into our analysis family. But you know, and anyone who wants to start from the ground up with us, you know, you reach out to me and I get you on one of these Africa tours. That's one of the main things. The link and the details are right here. So if you feel like you don't know much about what we're talking about in Africa, the simplest way to learn is to get on a journey. We'll help you get all your stuff together, and then you just travel with us. And then from there, you become like some of the people that we know now that live in different countries. They're moving around and they're doing many different things. All right, so brother, you ready to play this thing?
Yeah, I'm ready, brother.
All right.
Migration across the United States in the mid-1800s included people looking to live in open spaces with land to grow crops and the opportunity to have a better life. After the Civil War, that included freed slaves and their families. Fred de Sam Lazaro has the story of one Kansas town that was established as a result. It's part of our Black History Month coverage and our ongoing series, Race Matters.
Race matters. That's what's up.
The Kansas plains are filled with the lore of pioneers who, in the mid-1800s, laid the foundation of what would become America's breadbasket. The tale known as the smaller wave of newcomers for whom the journey meant something more.
It really represents African American experience in the West, leaving war-torn, volatile Jim Crow South and coming to experience real freedom.
Historian Angela Bates's ancestors were among an exodus of freed slaves who left the South in the years following the Civil War. Nicodemus was one of several all-black settlements that sprung up across the U.S.
It was a dream before even Martin Luther King was born. And so it was a dream that actually became a reality.
Despite grinding poverty and a harsh climate, Bates says they forged a community here.
It was a hard life building a town here, right?
It was for any pioneer, no matter what color you were. But for the African American that had endured slavery, I say it was easier. They had a choice. And so even though the hardships of living in holes in the ground, which were called dugouts, that was better than living in an environment where you had no choice.
By the early 1880s, Nicodemus had a population of about 500. It had a bank, a post office, and several businesses, and was poised for more growth, anticipating that the railroad would soon come through, the equivalent in those days of a town being hooked up to the internet for the first time. Alas, the railroad decided to lay its rails just a few miles to the south of this town.
As soon as the railroad bypasses your town, your economic viability is definitely in question. And then Nicodemus started to decline.
Remember I
was
told
the
you about
fate of
that?
other all-black towns,
The white
most
people
absorbed
decided where
into
the
larger
railway is going to go.
municipalities
To
or
starve
simply
out black towns.
abandoned as residents migrated in search of work.
That's a good point right there. Let's back it up, Kala, and break that down.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. All the people, some of the people of Nicodemus end up going to Liberia, you know, because like I said, the white people, we had these towns, right? But even though we had these towns, these dreams of these towns, right? The white people did not want to basically see these towns there because for the white community to thrive, right? We always got to be in a state of destitution, you know. We cannot like this. So the bottom line is this: these devils don't want us to leave. They need us in misery, you know. And so what I'm saying is the black people, the black leaders, this is what we have right now. We don't have control over our art, our music, anything. Somebody white is on top is benefiting from our death and destruction and everything. So tell me what we're going through right now is no different from then. Somebody white sits up there and a thing decides what goes on the airwaves, what goes here, what goes here. For example, let me give you an example, right? Before we get back to video. White people decided that, remember when that rocker Marilyn Manson was out? Remember him?
Yes, crazy.
They blamed him for the Columbine shooting, right? You know what they did? White people found billions of dollars, right? And in 1999, right, in Orlando, Florida is not even people go there for tours and everything. But when you think of acting instead, you think of New York and California, right? Florida is still flyover country, right? But in Orlando, Florida, you know what they did? They found all these. They said, look, we're going to flood the airwaves, Disney Channel, everything with these new age, whitewashed, white bread, suburban acts. That's where you got your Christina Aguilera. That's where you got your Britney Spears. That's where you got your Jessica Simpson. That's where you got NSYNC. That's when you got 98 Degrees and all the Backstreet Boys. They're going to flood that Disney World. They're going to basically make sure that white suburbia is going to be purified with this new type of pop music and everything, you know? The Disney Channel is popular, right? So they're steering white people saying, look, this is what we want you to do, right? We're going to like this. And it worked. Right. Then you had the Jonas Brothers who came a few years later, you know, the Jonas Brothers, you know, and all these people, the one guy, Aaron Carter, died today. White guy died today, right? He was part of that, you know, purifying the white culture in America. At the same time, right, they basically took our culture that black people do and gave us the most vile shit, poisonous shit in our kids' minds and everything, and destroyed our generation. This is what the uneven hand you have to play with when you decide that you're going to live in America forever. They're never going to change. In order for white people to rule, we always got to be in a constant state of chaos and anger, poverty. Just like we did in Nicodemus. Black people said, oh, that's a new town. Black people migrated there. They're like, oh, we're going to come. This is a promised land. But you can't have a promised land as long as you're a white man. They said the black man's Zion. If you know anything about African American history, the promised land, and the black man's Zion, the black man's Zion is where the white man is not. You know? So all you people think you're going to build your promised land and build yourself inside the white man's world, you will start saying it. And that's not me being a racist. That's not me being a black supremacist. That's just me telling you the truth.
Yeah, be real with them because they're telling us we can't do what we want to do in Africa. And I'm telling them that they're foolish and they have low IQ because the reality of it is we have people that are inviting us to come and to do what we're doing. And so I'm telling people, I mean, are you serious? Do you think I would leave my livelihood and make a move to go somewhere where I'm not wanted? And I have people living in the town that we have. They're all alive and they're all doing okay for themselves. And and we're figuring many things out that you have to figure out now, not later. By the time you figure this out later, all that land is gone. The Lebanese, the Chinese, the Indians, and whoever is out there getting them. They have the Africa Free Trade Agreement, which benefits the people that are established.
And it's not going to benefit black.
So I'm telling people, yes, that is Africa, but you have people there that's been there for generations, and their children been there for 2-3 generations. So yes, they have African passports. They have certain things. They have their family business established. So All they gotta do is step their game up. Next thing you know, they own the entire African continent, and next thing you know, you're a slave on the continent in your own countries.
And you're a slave in
Yeah,
America.
well, that can't happen. That can't happen. Well,
It is happening.
well, what do you mean that can't happen? That's exactly what is going on. And you're telling people that I've been all over the world, and everywhere I've been in the world, Black people are on the bottom of every single last social status, including America. Even though you have very successful Black people in America, you know, you still have the majority of the people in the lowest status in every single country in the entire world, including countries like Nigeria, where almost all of the people are Black. It's unfortunate, but this is what you're dealing with. Now, somebody from Nigeria may come on here. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh yeah, I saw one video where I said there was a Nigerian girl. She said she's sick in Nigeria. She's Nigerian. She said all they do is show. They don't know nothing about wealth. All they do is go to places to show off. And people are tired of them all over the world. They're arrogant. They're loud.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, do we have a Nigerian problem in the world? Absolutely. And are we picking on people from Nigeria? No. I mean, some of the best people that we know, you know, and friends we have are from Nigeria. But the fact of it is, it's just, and then maybe because that's, you know, the high population of Black folks. But then whenever I'm watching a video about Dubai, you know, Dubai is deporting
They
people.
kicked them out. That's embarrassing. You kick the whole entire people out.
Yeah, absolutely. I was even watching one, you know, one video earlier, and I'll find it. One of the sisters, I appreciate her saying that though. She was like, you know what I'm saying? She was like, some people come here to do whatever, but she's like,
oh yeah, I sent you that video.
Yeah. I came here to literally, so you're the one that sent it to me. I came here to literally work and had, you know, I had my position and things, and now I got a new position, but I can't get a work permit. So that's what happens in the country, in the countries. When some of our own people get to that country and they do the little foolishness that they do, then you have serious people out there that's trying to literally get a position. You know what I mean? Because international business is the thing now. If you have a certain skill, or you have, you know, even if a basic skill like cooking and cleaning, you can get an international contract. You know, and those are a great business for people. And you know, and so when you have some of our own people messing up, I mean, why do we need to go to Dubai and be partying like, you know, we all of this a big sense? I'm not saying that, you know, Nigerians are the only one that does act all boisterous and flashy and things like that, but it's like, that's a good percent. That's one of the set of people that we see all the time doing that. And then, you know, it translates to, you know, the situation that you talk about in Dubai. So I'm telling our people, like, why do we need to go to these people places and just blow all the money that we come upon? You know what I'm saying? Where's our investments in our Black nation? And for me personally, I'm telling people, it's a situation where you don't even have to be from that country, because sometimes the best thing to do is do something in another country. And it's kind of like, you know, you come up in your neighborhood in the hood, you know, your best bet is to leave, unfortunately. Now, can you do things for that community? Absolutely. And you should always do that. But you can do it from a distance. You can do it through different ways. Because one of the things, you know, where we all come from, you know, we just got haters on the highest level.
Yeah.
Where, you always hear them say, yeah, you know, you think you all of that. You think you all of that. You know what I'm saying? I was smarter than him when I was younger. When we, you know, went to the same school, I was better than him. And you know, that's the straight hate talk to where, you know, and I learned that from this now, just being around in New York City. So when people hear about some of the most successful, you know, people in music entertainment, they make a move somewhere else. And you know, and sometimes you have to just do that. So, but I'm telling people, like, literally, we can look at this as a move to invest in somewhere where, you know, we can have more leverage, where we can just literally just expand our operation, or literally where we feel like we just need to just be able to put ourselves in a situation where we can be somewhere else and develop. So that's what I'm telling people: join our energy and let's do this together. Because if we don't, I mean, I don't know what is going to be the solution for people if they don't put it together. Because your children are going to hate you. They're going to be like, you guys did nothing. And it's kind of like,
for us. The Indians are
like one of your buddies that's always complaining about our ancestors and complain about the people who came before us. But, you know, he doesn't really have anything legit to say, because the people who came before us, they put that work in. I got to give it to them.
Yeah, they didn't have internet.
They've done more than, you know, as generation go along, it's declining. I'm like, we have access to all the master teachers in the last generation. You know, some of them are even still living. We had access to that. We have access to a modern day connection in Africa. if we drop the ball, you know, people are gonna look at us like,
imagine
what
our ancestors
happened?
were able to go to Liberia and build whole communities and everything like that in the 19th century.
I think the issue was they didn't have the internet or YouTube.
Yeah,
I
they
think
didn't
that's
have
the problem.
YouTube. Yeah, get
Because
rid of
now you have the
YouTube.
internet and YouTube, you can sit around your basement being a 40-year-old virgin, playing with yourself,
Check this out. If it wasn't for the
and then
internet,
hoping for a reparations check.
the internet and the YouTube is destroying the Pan-African movement, making people lazy because they think doing a YouTube video is Pan-African. No, it's not. It's wasting people's time and energy, sucking their life out of people, you know, instead of people doing work, the actual work, you know, our ancestors.
Well, we have a few of our popular YouTubers, and you and I was talking about, they really believe that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's about time you give some grades out, Kala. You're gonna do the individual grades.
Yeah. At the end of
And if you don't want to call them names, don't call any names.
In December, well, I'm gonna do a Pan-African report card. You know, I'm gonna give out grades.
You want to wait till later?
Wait till the end of the year, man. It's gonna be the end of the year. Wait till, matter of fact, if New Year, you're not gonna be here on New Year's, right?
Usually I'm not.
Are you gonna be back in the States on New Year's Eve?
No, I'm. You know, we do our business internationally throughout the holidays.
Okay,
so we got schedules. But no, I mean, this is, you know, it's just whenever we do something.
I can do
whenever we do something, and if you want to give a preview of that, you can do that now.
Well, no, but basically what we're gonna do is just take all the Pan-Africans that we say, all the people we know and love on YouTube and everything,
or so-called Pan-Africanists, or wannabe Pan-Africanists.
wannabes and all stuff like that. We're gonna basically grade them on stuff A to Z. You know, we're gonna say nation building, communications, what you're doing, and everything like that. And I'll put myself up there too. You know, everybody, and basically give everybody a chance to call in or type in the chat room. You know, what do you think? You know, so like that. Then give a final report. You know, okay, this is what a person did. You know, everything's gonna be towards the 2022, the Pan-African movement. Who moved the needle? You know what I'm saying? Further, you know, it's not going to be like anything else. So if the people focus on something else, they're going to lose points. You know, if you focus on Pan-African and nation building, you will gain points and everything. It's going to be like that. So we're going to get up categories, you know, just like you got math, science, and home economics, everything. You get grades. We have different categories, you know, you get this person get a C for this. He may get an A+ for this, you know, and then give him a final report card, you know.
Yeah, you don't want me to grade them because I give most of them an F.
I know, probably you'll give it. I'm more a fan partial. You'll give everybody an F.
Yeah, and the reason why, because I mean, you know, a simple question. I mean, I've been asking a lot of people when they come up on this panel, what are you doing? What are you doing to progress Black people? A simple question.
Yeah.
Well, I make YouTube videos. I'm a content creator. I'm like, okay,
that'll give you a nice D- content creator.
Automatic F. You tell me you're a content creator, you're automatically F, because I'm telling people, what do you think we're doing here? We're creating incredible contents on the highest level. If people go back and listen to what we talk about and the conversation, it's not no little childish little play around conversation. This, you know, you may hear us talk about, you know, people like Kyrie and Kanye West, but you know, we don't get into too much of that, and made us talk about Sleepy Joe here and there, but that's not the conversation that we come to have. You know, we just use certain things.
We have to talk about the only thing everyone needs to talk about. If you haven't figured out, right, that nationhood is the end game, you get an F, right? If you think about, if you're talking about reparations and all stuff like that, you get an F, you know?
Oh, there you go. That's perfect. That's how we can do it, man. Let me switch over with you, man. There you go, man. You get an F. If you sit here and you talk about Tariq Nasheed and Omar Johnson, you get an F. Because those two guys, only thing I can say
they're irrelevant.
I mean, not only are they completely irrelevant, they're you know, they're YouTube, they're Pan-African, well, I can't really call them, they're Pan-African celebrities. You know, part of what we talk about, family, something simple as websites, having actual business, having actual presence in Africa. Like Kala got his connection and presence in Liberia. I have my connection and presence in Ghana, and then I go to different countries on tours. But Kala's also been there. I've also been to Ghana, and we're working on plans, and we're also connecting our energy together. You know what I mean? So we're not saying that we deserve an A, but family, we're giving ourselves an A. You know what I mean? And then when we step our game up, we're gonna give ourselves that A+.
Yeah.
because we're practically showing you what we're doing, and we're also, building dialogue around real serious conversations and topics that we really need to have as a people, and not this every minute this ambulance chasing. And so, if you're an ambulance chaser, and if you don't know what an ambulance chaser is, go ask a lawyer, because who chase more ambulance than lawyers?
Yeah, the whole thing is, the whole thing
Anybody
is,
that's an
brother,
attorney,
whole thing is,
disrespect,
whole thing is,
but
brother, is the fact that I just think that connecting Black America with Africa, and this is what I want to see, right? When someone says that, oh, we should go to Africa, right? If you don't have, okay, where's your investment group, right? Where's your feasibility study? Where's your line of credit? Where's the people? Where's your connection with the government? Like
Where's
you,
your
I watch
corporation?
you. You
Where's your
got
corporation?
everything you say, right? You could back it up by saying, we talked to the chief, we talked to this town, we got everything. You got okays on everything. Just like in the mafia, right? Say you better get an okay, So everything you say, you get an okay. You can verify it, I don't tell you stuff unless I got an okay. Okay, this is what's gonna happen in Liberia, This is my guy on the ground. This is what's going on, right? That's okay, I take one country, I take and nobody has said nobody has said a mass of Black people.
I'm telling you, man.
We don't want most of you Negroes, What the hell you talking? We only want the best and the brightest.
And the thing after this, people bring stuff up and things that I have to laugh. I think it's ideal that people actually flow with us on a conversation of the things that we talk about, because all we talk about is strategy and tactics. And first of all, if you just give if you just say if you say a population was 100 people, I would say 1 out of them 100 may leave, and maybe less than that. But there's no way Black people making no mass exodus. Even when we build what we build, there's still no mass exodus.
Yeah, and also I'm willing to bet, right? If when we do come, right, and the day's gonna come when it's developed, it's gonna be a waiting list to get over here. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna be like, okay, right now, it's gonna be like, okay, yeah. People think, oh yeah, no, look, when the shit is built and developed and everything, and it's going, everything, like I said, we're trading on the London and New York Stock Exchange, and we got stuff going up and everything. Yeah, people are gonna want to come. But that's going to be over the next 20 years. And so, therefore, it's not going to be no mass exodus. Look, I don't want the problems America created. What we want is people that will say, something, I like what you're doing. I could like, that's why I say you join the BAIO social network, right? You see when you join the BAIO, so it's a humbling thing because we ask you, what do you do? I know it's the last couple of people who joined didn't put their profession. You're supposed to put your profession in there. I want to know what you do. What do you have to offer this great organization?
I mean, come on, we're grown folks, man. You gotta have a profession.
What profession you do?
What have you been doing all your life? You gotta have something.
I'm so proud of the fact that when people read it and they join, I got people who are doctors, lawyers, engineers. My guy Quint is probably the most top engineer in the world, man. This guy ready, man. He's an older guy. He's ready. He's in the 60s. He's ready for Africa, and build and whatnot. That's got to put the right stuff together. He was ready for Angola 2 years ago. Anyway, the bottom line, I got people there that do IT, finance, surgeons. We got all kinds of people joining. I'm like, wow, these are the type of people like this. But when you just basically say, just come in, I don't want everybody. I want to be like when we talk about building a medical center in Gazi. You know what I'm saying? I want somebody to be like somebody say, okay, I could put together the medical plans, or stuff like that, where we could build modern hospitals and we could basically attract the sort of doctors by paying them. One of the problems in Africa is doctors leave because they don't get paid. What if we built a modern system like the ones we have in America? Look what the model we have in America. Okay, we have HMOs. We have what if we get to the point where our hospital is so good that your insurance that you earned in America could port over to Africa? Do you know how many billions and billions of dollars your insurance policy is worth? Because the hospital and the doctor could build the insurance companies, right? And so that's billions and billions of dollars. Do you know how much money there is in life insurance, right? That's a wealth transfer. Insurance alone, right? But that's not going to happen until we build the proper infrastructure, right? And then even let me say something like auto insurance, right? They said, well, you don't have to have auto insurance in Africa. I want there to be laws that say auto insurance. Why? Because what's going to happen is the government is going to have to start enforcing things like safety and everything like that. When that looks good, the insurance company say, you know something, I want to sell auto insurance company. Wouldn't that benefit us, right? How many of us would sell auto insurance or buy auto insurance policy from those of us who sell it and everything? So building infrastructure, right? Not just hard infrastructure, but soft infrastructure, healthcare, education, right? America gives out vouchers for people for charter schools, right? Imagine we was able to get some of that money to build our schools over in the continent. There's resources in America. Let's grab it. We paid for it. Our ancestors built that. What kind of fool would turn something like that down? Okay, we want to build a charter school. Where are you gonna build it? Oh, we're building in Ghana. I don't know. But so let's fight for it. You're gonna give us so many millions of dollars to build a school and everything like that for our students and everything. We just want to do it over here. We're living over here. You gonna explain that?
Yes, you can finish off just getting it all prepared.
Yeah, so therefore we have resources, we just don't use them, we just don't do. Tino said online school. The online school is a good idea, and Rwanda's benefiting now too because they use online school, but you gotta have, before you online school, you gotta have stable electricity. You can't have power going out and stuff like that. That's why we have to be we have to build our own substations and everything. We have to have power. We can't have power.
I can't run a data in a technical and a business center and the power goes out.
You can't have that. I can't. I was thinking about working in Liberia. So what if I go there? I think about working when I get over there, right? But if I'm on the phone with a client, next thing the power goes out, it's like, I hear check. I told you about that today in my office, right? I don't know what was going on with my internet. I don't know what the hell was going on. I was pissed, right? Then I turned my phone off Wi-Fi, right, and put on data, and everything popped up. So I don't know what was going on in my office today. I'm pissed off. It said I was on, but it was like the internet was. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on. It just pissed me off. Maybe those guys telling me take the day off. I went off work.
I wish I could take a day off.
And so therefore I can imagine, right? I'm saying to myself, I was just that pissed, right? Because I was having problems with internet. Imagine basically having that. But I noticed one thing in Liberia, that internet was powerful in Liberia. I never had no problems in Liberia with the internet, the Wi-Fi. I never had no problem, maybe because not a lot of people on it. And people mostly use data there, They use those data cards, But I never had no problem. But I did have a problem with electricity. That did bother me, man. You gotta know when electricity goes out for an hour, man. An hour will kill you. So all the stuff that we're saying, if you're telling me that the only way I can have infrastructure and electricity and running water is living with the white man, I call you a lie. You a lie from the pit of hell. You tell me our ancestors helped develop electricity and all this technology, and I gotta go to Africa and I gotta do it out? No. Well, we are first world people, right? And the Afrikstans are going to be first world oasis, And with that, we're going to connect and build the rest of the continent. We're going to cook all the Africa up to the Afrikstan grid. We want to basically produce the best minds, the best civilization, and a black world. We should not have to go to Asia and be on a long line to get to Europe and all these other places just to enjoy a decent way of life. I don't agree with that, man. I don't agree with that. I don't agree that you should be living in misery on the African continent. And if you want things like running water and decent schools and stuff like that, and clean, safe environment, and clean place, and modern roads, and infrastructure and light rail and all stuff like that you enjoy in the West, I think it should be on the African continent too. So if people oppose us, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Africa. We're talking about infrastructure. We're talking about futuristic city states. We could do that. If Black America turns its attention towards Africa and we're going to build it, it can happen.
Yeah, where's all these other Pan-Africanists talking about what we talking about?
No, all the other Pan-Africans not talking about this. We're the only ones
because we're not really Pan-Africanists, but yeah,
that's why I said we're giving out a Pan-African report card. If you're not talking about building infrastructure in Africa, then don't talk to me.
What are you really talking about? If you're not talking about building Black power in the future for our children, and what are you really talking about?
We have the capability of doing it. You gonna play it, brother?
There we go.
Once Upon a Time in Black America. That's what I call these series.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember I was watching your video on Dinah's show. I was rolling, man.
Once Upon a Time in Black America. That's one of my series, man. Once Upon a Time in Black America.
There we go.
For those who stayed on here in the decades that followed, life was a struggle, as it was for Black farmers across the country, who were largely excluded from critical government lending and price support programs.
You know what I'm talking about?
So all this prairie land, all this farmland here was Black owned at one point.
At one point, all of it.
And now?
Maybe about 10% of it.
Jonella Holmes.
There you go, brother. I just stopped right there, man. And
And
then you
so,
got-
so we can let's just stop right there for a second. You know, it's like I could go retire.
this is
right?
America. They said that Black people own 100% of the farmland.
Right,
in that area. And now we own 10.
Bottom line is they
Yeah,
economically
that.
starved us out.
Exactly. That's like they talk about earlier that literally, and these are the things that you tell people that still goes on. It's like, and I tell people we have to be clear about the situation that we're dealing with. This is a system that was built for their people. They built the system for their people. You were never included. You know what I mean? They had to amend you into whatever they're doing and things like that. So just because they amend you into their system don't mean that you literally, one of their people they care about. So I'm telling people the way you survive this, look at all the Johnny come lately and the newcomers that have came to America. They've got themselves established. You told me about the Filipino community,
Right.
I mean, and you told me about the 60s. Then somebody else might say the Koreans or the Chinese or the Indians and so on. And that's who's taking up your opportunities, because literally, we're not taking advantage of those opportunities, but they're not gonna come here and complain about those same things because they have their organized. Now, number one, they're being number one. All the people I mentioned or countries I mentioned, they're represented by a country and a government that's that's not saying it's a unified government, but a unified government because their country is pushing one language, one nation, and
They have a culture. Your culture, let me tell you something. Your culture is tied to your land, your homeland. If you don't have a land, you don't really have a culture, right? Black America, the Black towns where Black culture existed. You know what I'm saying? That's why they had to destroy them. And also people unfairly now, and you got a lot of Black conservatives and some people, some Pan-Africans will say, oh, stop making excuses. That ain't excuses. These people deliberately did this to us.
yeah. Well, how was that excuses when you're systematically being put in a situation where you can't really compete? And the fact of the matter that we even progress in this modern day situation that we have is impressive. So I'm telling people, what if we actually were on code? We're doing more group economics. And we're gonna keep on saying this word, whether we call it cooperative economics or group economics. It's the same thing we're talking about. That's how you compete. Any other way, you're not gonna make it. And I've seen, like I mentioned to people, I've seen people lose their life in Africa. I've seen people literally just destroy everything that they have worked for because they didn't want to practice group economics.
Right.
A associate of mine that lost his life, I remember some of the last words he said to me. It was like, in Ghana, that's not how they really do it. So it was like, it's like you asking yourself, did I bring this person to Africa and show them what we're showing for them to just because they live there and I don't live there, for them to tell me it works in the country? I was like, I know it works in the country. That's why I don't live there. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because why would I put myself in a position where I can't be successful and I can't compete and I can't win just because I'm emotional about America, or just because I feel like, oh, I'm in this country in Africa, so I just need to be around everybody in this country only and things like that. And I don't want to be around them people from African American, because the person did say to me that that he don't want to be a part of an African American community and things like that. And I never labeled that community an African American community, but people can, but I don't even care what people want to say. It's a community made up of my people, mainly people from Jamaica and people from Black America, and people who have our same values and same connection. That's so we figured that out together. Now another group of people may just decide to do something, maybe a group of Muslim brothers, but regardless, what you're doing is practicing Black cooperative economics. And then when more of us practice that, what we talk about, brother, we call our show, the subtitle of our show, Building a Global Black Business Pipeline.
Yeah, it's a pipeline. It's a pipeline of groups of interests together, associations, and also that's what we created an insight for. I like to see black
Exactly.
associations and everything like that. Oh, I didn't have heard this association of this. I would join an insight, and that's how we have it all in one place. You know, we have people diverse from different countries, different interests, and form your own group. You know, and network with each other and everything. That's what we got a social network for. You know, but it's hard to get black people to do that. You know, it's like, look, if it was any other race, the BAO, what we're doing, we wouldn't have all this pushback. We have
I agree with you, brother.
no other
I'd have
race
a
would be in our
complete.
position. You know, we said
I'd-
we could build in Africa. You got countries, but I just got reports from my brother Sam that Liberia has found titanium, coltan, and diamonds, some of everything in the Mono River region. You know, that's like, wow. I already knew they had iron ore and everything. I said, man, we got investors coming in that's going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to start processing stuff to the highest level. And Rosenthal's involved and everything. I said, wow. And so I'm saying, we have all this access to wealth on the African continent, right? All we have to do is have the organization thing. I'm glad that we kept the BAL going, right? Because people now can look and say, you know something, there is a black organization. And I get this all the time. Yeah, people that said there's somebody here, and that's how the Zimbabwe found out about Arcana and all them found out about the us because Roosevelt said, yeah, there are black people in America who's interested in building a city state, right? And I'm just a guy who runs a social network, right? And then people come to me and say, yeah, I heard you guys want to build a city state over here in Angola. And so, yeah, you know, and we're just a social network, you know, but we're here though. And we let people know that there are people in Black America who's interested in building on that level, you know, building city states, building towns, and building industrial zones and everything like that to the highest level, right? And like I said, we have to have the alpha corporations, you know, the alpha. We don't do that, right? We have to have Mr. Such and Such, right? Multi-millionaire who's going to invest in this part of Ghana. He's going to build this. He's going to build a factory here and everything, and then everybody else becomes secondary parts of him. You know, that's what Indians do. They want to be one major business person, and then they'll have smaller people who do own gas stations, who own restaurants, and all stuff like this, and all kinds of little businesses that are allied to him. You know, in their own business networks. But black people, we don't do that. We don't have any business networks. You know, because we talk black. You can't just be black when white people are shitting on you. You know what I'm saying? You know, when other people, they have a culture, they're Indians or they're Chinese, whether they face racism or not. We're only black when somebody gets shot by the police and we're emotional. But we're not black when it comes down to how we conduct our businesses. Perfect example, where my office is right here. Where my office, hey, most of the black businesses there, we don't speak to each other. Mostly all the businesses in the office complex and both sides, everything are black. Nobody wants to speak to them when you talk to them like, oh, I don't want nobody in my business and everything, you know? You try to be like, okay, yeah, we're all black businesses. How you doing? Everything. Oh, wait, you asking too many questions. That's the mentality you're dealing with. And it's worse when you go to the African continent. Why do you think people don't talk to each other and I tell people all the time, y'all both in Ghana, y'all don't speak? No. Y'all both in Kenya, y'all don't speak? No. And that's the problem. That rugged individualism. You know, that rugged individualism. So don't tell me, and I'm not impressed by you with your dashiki on, you know, looking like you're wearing a tent, you know, and you got the braids on and you're doing that, and you just as Western and rugged individual as you could be. But I'm in Africa now, you know, but you're still a black neck, you still practice rugged individualism, and you don't understand what it means by cooperation, you know, for a long-term goal. Go ahead, Brother Bomani.
Yes, brother. Kala, light them up, brother. Light them up, man. Yeah. I don't think people understand, man. We came to bring it to the highest.
The bottom line is, man, is this movement, this Pan African, is it real or is it not? And people got to be real about this. Real about this. It's going to work or not, and it has to deliver people. You know. And like I said, I don't care about what anybody else does. We know the truth. This is the only answer to the Black America's problems. Just play that. They could finish playing that clip. You know, this is what we're talking about. This is the reality. All the 100 years wasted because these people did this to us. You know, imagine the millionaires and billionaires that could have been produced out of this right now. You know,
absolutely. And so, are we going to keep on holding our faith in the same wicked system? I'm saying once again, family, not saying that people need to make no exodus movement, because I think that's foolish right there. You know, what the people need to do is organize to take more advantage of what we have here and make it work with those of us that's in Africa set up or setting up. And it's a simple thing, nothing difficult about it. You know, they'll follow the people who are not amateurs, who know what they're doing, like you know, the two top Pan-Africanists right here, you know, Bomani and Kala. Like, you know, we really have a great game plan for our people. You know what I'm saying? You know, brother, you and I have talked to and listened to many different people, and you know, and we don't see we don't see the solutions or the end game. Perfect. So, family, let me play this in now. Me and Kala is gonna get more into it because, you know, we're excited.
Yeah, director of the Kansas Black Farmers Association.
You know, most of them that had to give up their land and their farm, they didn't walk away with a nest egg.
What is the condition of Black farmers today?
Dismal. They're still losing acres. They're still walking away from their farming. The parents are no longer encouraging the children to go ahead and assume the debt and, you know, and continue to farm.
Much of Nicodemus lies in ruin today, but for Holmes and others who call themselves descendants, there's something special about this place. That's why Holmes moved back after retiring from her job at Kansas State University.
Both my parents grew up here.
Angela Bates grew up in Pasadena, California, but like her parents, felt the tug.
And so when they moved away, they always came back because this is home. Home being our own all-Black town, and very proud of that.
In the 90s, Bates led a campaign that successfully designated Nicodemus as a National Historic Site, memorializing the little-known Black pioneer experience. As schoolchildren come on field trips and others gather for annual homecoming days held in the summer, they get a different take on Black history.
Too often, we look at slavery, and as we look back, all we see are the atrocities. But out of that came great things. It created greatness in people and tenacity in people. And so what they were doing out here on the isolated high plains of Kansas was phenomenal. I'm proud of that legacy. It runs in my veins, and it just makes me feel that the world needs to know the story.
Out of a history defined by struggle, Bates says she wants to create a future that can inspire hope. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Fred DeSan Lazaro in Nicodemus, Kansas.
Now, you saw the AME Church, right? The African Methodist Episcopal Church. That was a church that led all the Black independence movements, you know, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, you know, and the AME Church, where we're African Methodists. Why? Because we always knew we're Africans, you know. So this idea of Black people in America aren't no African, no, you know your history. We call ourselves African Americans, the African American Methodist Episcopal Church, the African Baptist Association, you know. And so the bottom of the AME Church, also Henry McDill Turner built a town in Durban and Johannesburg, you know. The AME, the African Methodist Church, was always a core center of the Black town, you know. In Liberia, you see all these AME churches just like that, you know, that are hundreds of years old, you know, 100 years old or so. In Liberia, the AME Church and whatnot, you know, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, you know. And so therefore we have a whole history, but you saw how these people did all they could, but the white man, you know, when you living with the white man, that's what he does, you know. They thought the railways would come. They didn't put there. They put there where the white people at, you know. So we gotta go to them. You know, we had no say so where the railways went. We have no say so where the highways went. And just like St. Augustine, Florida, people don't realize St. Augustine, Florida is the most dangerous place in America, right? But that was once a thriving community. You know, now it's like St. Augustine, Florida, murder capital. It's a shame. They deliberately starved out our black towns, built highways over them, whatnot. These people were vicious. We cannot build your civilization, on time. Now, some of us live in the suburbs. Even though if you're living in the suburbs, like majority of like that, you still crave a black homeland. That experience, like you said, yeah, all black town. That gives you a sense of pride. That you have something to go to. We have something to go to. Can you now look at what happened to brother Takeoff, right? Killed in Houston. Now you go to Houston, you have to check in. He said he checked in with Jay Prince or whatever like that. Check into some goon or thug who's shaking you down for money. Is that what our ancestors? That's it. I was about to listen to one brother the other day who was saying that checking shit don't. They said L.A. must be soft and Houston must be soft because in New York that shit would not go, and especially in Miami. They said, dude, walking around like, what would happen? I know I'm from South Jamaica, Queens. I'll be damned. It was all black patriarchal society. You had brothers that went to church who would put you in underneath in the Rockaway with cement in the Rockaway Bay. We didn't have that stuff in New York. You got to check in with some clown ass nigga. I said,
okay, so you check in with one clown, then another clown smoke you.
Yeah,
how does that work?
You gonna check in. You're gonna check in. I'm like, LA. I'm like, that's why we never respected LA, man. Them niggas are soft, man. You let these niggas.
But I'm saying, even though some people say if you did that, I mean, does that one group control the whole city?
No, but the thing is, they say, "Oh, I run the city and everything."
Nah, they don't run no city.
But check us out. In New York, it ain't like that. Ain't nobody.
When you go from block to block, it's a whole different world.
Yeah, you go from one block, right? The next block,
you got crews on every block.
You got crews on every block, and also families, You don't disrespect. Also, one thing you don't do is disrespect somebody's family. Mr. Such and such come out there, you better. Oh, hey, how you doing? You don't disrespect somebody's family because these families will put your crew to the test. You said what to my mom? What you say? Oh, yeah. Next to cousins, everybody coming from all over. You see them block fights, man. I don't know what those dudes out west, man. These niggas are soft, man. You let these dumb niggas take over your communities one night. As a
matter of fact, bro, let's be real, man. The Mexicans taking over all them places.
They let the Mexicans take over this shit. How the hell? New York, we like go get the hell.
I mean, so when you look at Texas, you look at man, Arizona, Nevada, California,
Chicago, all these fucking soft ass places,
No, I'm talking about this literally just out west. The population. I mean, what's right there by all those places? Mexico, right?
Mexico. You don't have Mexico. Also, the Mexicans
is Mexico bigger than all of those places combined?
Yeah, check this out. The Mexicans.
What's going to happen over a period of time?
Yeah, the Mexicans are coming up to Chicago too, man. They're coming to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Just like you heard about, but it's like for those states, it's over.
It's over, man. I don't know how any black person live out there. I don't know how you do it.
You're not gonna be able to compete. I mean, eventually, all the government positions. I've had people that that just live in California, for their whole life, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And you talk to them, and they'll tell you the trend. They'll tell you
they haven't made no progress.
But no, what they'll tell you about is the change of when things were black,
yeah,
and how it is now. And
what it was there was never
all of America.
There was never a strong black presence in California.
No, it's one of the smallest black population.
Right, so they never had that strength like they would do over here at East Coast. On the East Coast, right here, Virginia, I don't see black people. That ain't happening anytime soon, man. Black people here too strong, and we're going head to head with white folks here, man. Like in these states like Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, in North Carolina, and stuff like that. Black folks, it's strong. Like I said, man, these are the strongest black regions right here on the Atlantic seaboard, right here. I don't know what's going on out Midwest and like that, man. But I couldn't live out there. I hear all these problems. I'm like, damn.
Nah.
Yeah, I said, nah. I'll stay over here, man.
I'm fine here in the beautiful tropical South.
Yeah, I'm like South. the Southeast right here is no joke, man. You know, I say I'll stick around here for a little while. You know, I ain't going out west. I'm not going out Chicago and Seattle.
Yeah, people literally don't understand the lifestyle. They don't understand like the southern suburb lifestyle.
Right.
It's just
tranquil.
it's it's basically you have a room to breathe, and it's a bunch of different things, man. But it's like, it's you'd have to some of these things you have to experience. But I've lived to it, like I tell people, I lived in many places and been to many places, and you want to have a peace of mind. And even though you feel comfortable where you are right now, me and you know it's not enough. And that's why we're talking about family. We're talking about, even if you feel at home or comfortable, we still got to think about the future of what we really need to have.
This is how I see it. This is how I see it, brother. This is how I see it, right? And motherfuckers, judge me all you want, right? I'm coming here, right? But I don't basically see the hood as my career. I'm like this. I'd rather basically say I'd rather build in Africa, right, and connect with me in Black suburbia here, because I don't believe some people really think they're gonna go to rebuild Detroit and all these other places. It's over, man. It's not gonna happen.
So there's no comeback for the Motor City.
There ain't no coming back, man. Other than the Mexicans, But the whole thing. Let me say this, right? Let's be honest with ourselves, right? My generation, our generation X, right? I didn't know nothing about world economy and stuff like that, right? And I was like this, man. My worst fear when I was in high school was working a factory job. I was like, I ain't working no damn factory. And so therefore, if most people say, we were taught that being a blue collar is worse. Man, we were taught that, oh, your dad's a blue collar guy and everything. Even though my father had a house, everything like that, right? We didn't know that the world was getting smaller, right? People will be killing for that blue collar job now.
Yes, they would.
It was status, man. You didn't want to be a blue collar, right? You didn't want to be blue collar. Remember the one? Remember Crush Group? Remember Run said, "I don't want to be working no car wash my life. I'm gonna be a rapper," But that was real. Everybody wanted to be famous. Everybody was big. We got caught up in America. So I believe that we would have took one more generation of work, nailing down those blue collar jobs. Black America would be 10 times stronger than it is right now. But we didn't want no part of it. I'll be honest with you. We didn't want no part.
Because eventually you'll build ownership.
Yeah, ownership.
You own those companies, and you'll build, and then you're practicing that same method. Next, you own basically what the Mexicans are doing now.
Right, and the Mexicans are now building in Tesla. They humbled themselves, and they were working class people and everything. And now in Texas, in places like that, Tesla and these factories are coming to them. We didn't want that. We wanted white collar jobs. We like that. Why? Let me tell you something. The reason why is because in America, in our culture in America, right, a black man who's blue collar was looked down upon. It's like you're black and you're uneducated. You know what I'm saying? So we got caught up in the Cosby generation, that Cosby shit. That your doctor's a lawyer. The original Bill Cosby show. He was supposed to be a plumber.
No, how do you know all these things?
I know these things, right? He was supposed to be a plumber, and his wife was just supposed to be a housewife. That was supposed to be the original concept. Then he got in there and changed it where he's Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable, and she's a lawyer. And I don't think Black America, honestly, we're ready for that. We weren't ready for that. We should have kept with the blue collar angle. He said, "Oh, it's already been done."
Oh, you said it's kind of like a conversation. It's kind of like W.E.B. Du Bois and
Booker T. Washington.
There you go. Rock on.
We always had that conflict, right?
We're talking about a similar theory, right?
Yeah, similar theory.
Yeah, I agree. And that's where I focus on, because I talk to my brothers all the time. I was like, you know what? I was like, don't get outdone by one of those sisters in one of those office positions, because they're more dominant now. I was like, what you can do is to lock down. I was being real with them. I was talking to a group of teenage brothers. They finished high school and things, and me, I'm always having these conversations about careers, because I feel like it's one of those things that would have benefited me if I really had people to talk with me about careers. And I figured, you struggling, you figure it out. But I was, explaining the same theory of options I was talking about, as far as from military technical school, entrepreneurship, and just university. But what I was explaining to them, that there's a rising force of just sisters stepping their game up. I mean, that's the best thing I can call it, stepping their game up and competing. So now, and then the system is a system. I don't even have to explain that to people. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that any sister that get a position over a brother is, it's just a system situation. I'm not saying that, but it's also, those are situations that do happen. So what I was explaining to them, what we have to get back to basically is locking down trades.
Yeah.
I was telling them
trades are where the money's at.
Business trade or trades that's related to related to contracting. Throughout everybody's city, you see the vehicles driving around, whether they're cutting grass or doing,
and those guys are making, all those trades are making over $100,000 a year. I have a guy down my house, right? This guy Fisher, right? He got the contract. The one girl that moved in office right next to me, she moved out, right? And the trucking company, they had a combined business, right? And he remodeled her office, right? And so the guy Matthew, I was telling him, an Indian guy, right, saw him, said, "You can do the work." He says, "I can put new windows." And the windows we got now, I'm gonna take a picture. The picture I got is old, but my office windows, right? You guys see it's beautiful, right? He does windows, right? But he grew up with my brother-in-law. He said, "Yeah, we went to school together, And we just bought our house last year, and he came by and did our windows, right? He saved us like $20,000, right? It was, his crew was kind of chaotic and everything. You know how black people do, but he got the job done, But he got how much he got? He got a $80,000 contract to put all the windows in at my thing. He said, "Man, this is what I do." And he's like my age. He's like in his early 50s, right? And he got he's my girl, right? He got kids growing. He showed me his girl, so badass little red bull when that's my baby right there, I say, "Yo, man, you making $300,000 a year, what I'm saying?" Of course, then she's like, yeah. I say, yeah, it's a big fat dude too, I'm like, "How you get to something like that, Fisher? How the hell you do?" I'm in Home Depot. He said, "Did I show you my picture of my girl?" Yeah. I'm like, "You got that, man?" Like, damn, man. But the bottom line, these guys, he said, "Man, I mastered the skill trades, man." I've been doing windows now for 30 years, he the way he does windows, man. I'm like, damn, it's just unbelievable. He got his own crew, everything like that.
System, okay.
These black guys down here, man, they mastered those skilled trades and whatnot. You see them out and whatnot here, they're hardworking and whatnot. But a lot of us brothers from New York and whatnot, we were cut out of that stuff because of the unions and so the mafia and stuff like that. We didn't have the opportunity in New York. Down here, you can open up a business, you can get your contracting license, get your certifications, right? You can eventually get your journeymen and everything. There's opportunity here in the South you don't have in like the big cities and stuff like that, And so these guys down here making money. I know guys that do plumbing, making $400K a year, and stuff like that. Do paving.
But I mean, outside of money, because I mean, I know a lot of times, we have conversation. We just throw figures at people. It's kind of like you're hearing those commercials. You could be an aircraft technician and make this amount of money. And I always joke with my son. I was like, I never made the money they're talking about that you make, but do people make it? Yes. But one of the things, brother, with the whole career aspect is, is those guys you're talking about, they're a group of guys working together. They have their own independent business. So that's why, I'm ultimately explaining to the brothers. I was like, all the, you build your, you put your work in and build your skill base, and then you just write your own ticket and create something for yourself. Just
like when time comes,
we haven't hit the jackpot yet, but it's like I tell people, we put the work in and it comes. I mean, because what you do is you talk to all the people that you talk, you study other people's success story and things like that. And when you're in this journey and you're in business, they always talk about how within like a few years people just out of business, and and even with all the stuff that goes on, you just out of business. And some of us, you just learn how to stay. You learn how to just build longevity, by just not, by basically just not taking any shortcuts. You put the time in. So that's what you tell them: put the work in, build something for yourself. Stop and don't be on something like what we see a lot of men doing, making YouTube videos, sitting around making videos about women. I think you call the guy Jay the something. I mean,
Jay the Black.
I didn't mean for you to call his name because I don't know. It's like every time you turn around, these guys are just making videos about women doing this and women doing that. But it's that simple. Build the trades that Kala's talking about, and and then you could be like that guy that you met, the big guy. Let me sit, and
Yeah,
and
man.
you can have a fine woman like that. You could be the most.
He don't
honest
need no
person,
passport. He don't
you
need
know?
no passport. He got
You don't need to be like the Passport Brothers,
Yeah, and or the passport brother go overseas. I know a lot of dudes that young guys be making a lot of money, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something, man. Down here, it's a contracting. Even landscapers make money here. Landscapers make money here. They're making. I bumped into another guy the other day. He owns like 3 tow trucks, man. He said, man, because where the tow trucks go right now is you make most of your money through the insurance companies like AAA and stuff like that. And you just get paid out there. I remember my friend Ilya back in the days, this is back in the early 90s, right? He's from Fort Lee, New Jersey. He comes from money. My boy Ilya comes from money, and he the car wash that I bought years later, he used to own it first, right? And I bought it from another guy. He left, he gave it up, and I bought the car wash, right? And we're both in our 20s, right? I remember Ilya, he told me he made his first $1 million at the age of 21 because he owned a fleet of tow trucks,
Right.
and he used to tow on the Garden State Parkway in Jersey, And he said Palisades and Garden State, that was his area one night. He said he made his first money. He owned like 2 gas stations in Jersey. So I know a lot of brothers that just make money and stuff like that, and had their shit together, So you got to trade.
They go trade entrepreneurship. So that's what I'm telling
Yeah.
brothers. Build your business and handle your business. I mean, and also the people that you have in more of these office places now, they're not gonna hire regular men. I mean, without me saying too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's a derogatory terminology. Regular men, right?
Like I said, we created in the BAO. We have a group called the Dooges group. Dooges are from the Fraggle Rock, skill trade. That's going to be essential. Putting that right there, the skilled trades groups and everything, the electricians and everything for nation building, and unions and stuff like that, trade associations and everything. That's going to be key in nation building because we're going to be able to one day negotiate multi-million-dollar contracts to build shit. And we want people to be bidding. We're gonna, like I said, this is a social network now, but one day we're gonna have the technology where we're gonna have where you in our social network, you're gonna have a card, a PIN code, and stuff like that, and you can put bids on contracts. If you don't, you ain't gonna be able to bid on contract. That's how we're gonna lock everybody out. We're gonna have the IT shit where we're gonna have 1 million people in our shit, and if you don't have a card, you're not in good status. You can't trade with us. We can't buy your shit. You can't work with us or nothing like that. We're gonna have everybody locked the fuck out. That's not part of our organization. That's how we're gonna create billions and billions of dollars. And right now we're scattered. We're not we're disorganized. We're disorganized. We're disorganized. But one day we're gonna be really organized as a nation. Before you even get land, you gotta be organized as a nation. That's why cooperation and building over rugged individualism is the key. Is anybody gonna come on? So I'm getting tired here, brother. So anybody gonna come on?
All right, that is good. So, family, we can close out now, and you've scared them away. You know what I mean? Because
what I'm gonna do is next time I'm gonna be a kinder, gentler Kala. Kinder, gentler Kala.
I mean, I don't think that helps. I mean, we're not saying anything bad to people, but at the same time, too, it's like if you don't believe what we can, if they just believe what they believe and not really feeling us. Show us what you're working with, and I mean,
people know when they see this presentation here that this is real. We got the land in Ghana. We're gonna duplicate that all over the continent, and pretty soon we're gonna have. I can't wait till we have brothers say, "I can build an industrial zone." We're gonna do that with the Sky City design. We're gonna design. What we're gonna do is design the prototype industrial zone, light industrial and heavy industrial. And say, okay, what we're gonna do is have shows, right, where we have the Sky City, and we might have a screen share, whatever like that, and people could put their presentations up and like, okay, this is where the marina should be. This is where the power plant should be. This is where this could be. This is where we have these blocks right here will be factories. This is good for this. This is good. When we start having those sort of conversations and stuff like that, then somebody's gonna say, you know something, man, I do warehousing and logistics. You know, I got a lot of guys that do warehousing and logistics, right? But one day we're gonna have the ability to give out a contract worth millions of dollars. You know, once we're able to give out those contracts and everything, it's going to be ball game, right? Because people are going to be building and stuff like that. When we build these, every Afrikstan town is going to have an industrial park, industrial zone, you know, and eventually one day we're going to have our own stock exchange on the African continent where you can invest your money into our enterprises, our private enterprises and public and private enterprise on the continent. We're going to have our own stock exchange, on the continent, right? This in every country, So we could people, you could take your 401k and invest in us and everything. That's what we're doing. So those listen to this, if that's what you do for a living, get in contact with us. Let's start building. Oh, I could do that, and I thought about that. So this is the type of people we need. We need people that got the highest level of education, skill, and expertise for this. This is what we're looking for.
Yes, brother. Absolutely. Well said. Well said, brother. And family, that's what we do, family. So we've shared a whole lot of information, and we always telling you, family, if you're looking for consultation, looking to connect with us, looking to just have a dialogue.
Somebody joined it. Somebody joined tonight as we were talking. Somebody watching, join the show, join the link site.
All right, cool, perfect. So that's what we want to hear. And then, it is, man. Once people join, you got to engage them and build that relationship with them.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna reach out and went out on things. Say, look, I
and
say
then what they have to do, they have to also do more than just join. They have to participate, socialize, and network. And that's one of the things they always, trying to get people to step their game up. So we can just take it to that next level. But that's a great start, and we'll keep on pushing what we're pushing, family. So, brother, appreciate your energy, and we're gonna keep on working on things. So I'm gonna close out and then get ready for the morning. It's back to work.
Yeah, man. I should have took off.
Nation.
It was a rough day today, man.
You got to get up every day and keep working at this thing, family. So, revolutionaries, don't retire and they don't go around and have a bunch of time off on their hands to sit around and do nothing and play around on YouTube. They're working. So that's what we're doing, family. Changing the game. That's what revolution means. Take it to another level. All right, brother. You take care.
We got Black Power.
Yes. And I'm gonna share some nice screen sharing, family, and you just enjoy the rest of the night, family. And this is our website. And that's what we do, family. We take technology to another level.
I was most interested in brotherhood within his own race. Because if Negroes are created in God's image and Negroes are black, then God must in some sense be black. If the white man has the idea of a white God, let him worship what God as he desires. We have found a new ideal. Because whilst our God has no color, and yet it is human to see everything through one's own spectacles, and since the white people have seen their God through their white spectacles, we have only now started to see our God through our own spectacles. So we believe in the God of Ethiopia, the everlasting God, God of Father, God of Son, God of Holy Ghost, the one God of our legends. That is the God in whom we believe, but we shall worship him through the spectacles of Ethiopia. For 250 years, we have struggled under the burden and rigors of slavery. We were maimed, we were brutalized, we were ravaged in every way. We are men. We have hopes, we have passions, we have feelings, we have desires just like any other race. The cry is raised all over the world of Canada for the Canadians, of America for the Americans, of England for the English, of France for the French, of Germany for the Germans. Do you think it unreasonable that we, the black world, should raise the cry of Africa for the Africans? The Negro is a man. We represent the new Negro. His back is not yet against the wall. We do not want his back against the wall because that would be a peculiar and desperate position. We do not want him there. It is because of this that we are asking for fair compromise. Where the Belgians have control of the Belgian Congo, which they cannot use, they have not the resources to develop, now the intelligence. The French have more territory than they can develop. There's certain parts of Africa in which they cannot live at all. So it is for you to come together and give us a United States of Africa. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are not going to be a race without a country. God never intended it, and we are not going to use God's confidence in us as men. We are men, human beings, capable of the same acts as any other race, possessing under fair circumstances the same intelligence as any other race. Well, Africa's been sleeping, not dead, only sleeping. Today, Africa's walking around not only on her feet, but on her brains. You can enslave as was done for 300 years the bodies of men. You can shackle the hands of men. You can shackle the feet of men. You can imprison the bodies of men, but you cannot shackle or imprison the minds of men. Rise down, black men, and take. Reach up, black men and women, and pull all nature's knowledge to you. Turn ye around and make a conquest of everything, north and south, east and west. And then when you have wrought well, you will have merited God's blessing. You will have become God's chosen people, and naturally you will become leaders of the world. And as you bow down to the white man today, so a lot of races bow down to you and call you a race of masters because of the superiority of your mind and your achievements. But no race has the last word on culture and civilization. They do not know what we are capable of. They do not know what we are thinking. They are thinking in terms of dreadnoughts, battleships, airplanes, submarines. You know what we are thinking about? That is our own private business.
Why should the black man in America concern himself, since we've been away from the African continent for 400 years, 300 or 400 years? Why should we concern ourselves? What impact does what happened to them have upon us? Number one, first you have to realize that up until 1959, Africa was dominated by the colonial powers, and by the colonial powers of Europe having complete control over Africa, they projected the image of Africa negatively. They projected Africa always in a negative light. Jungles, savages, cannibals, nothing civilized. And naturally, it was so negative until it was negative to you and me. And you and I began to hate it. We didn't want anybody to tell us anything about Africa, and much less call us an African. And in hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. You can't hate your origin and not end up hating yourself. You can't hate Africa and not hate yourself. And you show me one of these people over here who have been thoroughly brainwashed, who has a negative attitude toward Africa, and I'll show you one that has a negative attitude toward himself. You can't have a negative attitude toward yourself, a positive attitude toward yourself, and a negative attitude toward Africa at the same time. To the same degree that your attitude, that your understanding of an attitude toward Africa becomes positive, you'll find that your understanding of and your attitude toward yourself will also become positive. And this is what the white man knows. So they very skillfully made you and me hate our African identity, our African characteristics. And you know yourself that we have been a people who hated our African characteristics. We hated our hair. We hated the shape of our nose. We wanted one of those long dog-like noses, you know. Yeah. We hated the color of our skin. Hated the blood of Africa that was in our veins. And in hating our features and our skin and our blood, why we had to end up hating ourselves. And we hated ourselves. Our color became to us a chain. We felt that it was holding us back. Our color became to us like a prison, which we felt was keeping us confined, not letting us go this way or that way. And we felt that all of these restrictions were based solely upon our color, and the psychological reaction to that would have to be that as long as we felt imprisoned or chained or trapped by black skin, black features, and black blood, that skin and those features and that blood that was holding us back automatically had to become hateful to us. And it became hateful to us. It made us feel inferior. It made us feel inadequate. It made us feel helpless. And when we fell victim to this feeling of inadequacy or inferiority or helplessness, we turned to somebody else to show us the way.